Hi, this is Jonathan Tiersten from the Perfect House and Sleepaway Camp, and you are listening to the Real Nerds Podcast.
Welcome to Real Nerds Podcast, unofficially the official podcast of Denver Comic-Con 2014 and beyond. My name is Ryan. I'm your most excellent host. With me always is...
James.
And you know what I love, James?
When Brad's not here.
Yes. Fuck Brad.
He's coming. He's coming.
That's what she said.
Oh,
I want to make sure that we introduce when we have guests, fellow filmmakers in our presence. Gentlemen, the floor is yours. Please introduce yourselves to our wonderful listening audience.
Hi, I'm Alex Rhodes-Wilmer, and I'm here with
Jesse Stewart. How's it going?
And I am Aaron Lade.
Cool, guys. So what brings you to the Fortress of Solitude?
Mostly Godzilla.
Nice.
But, yeah. But also we're kind of promoting a movie we're making this summer. It's called Mount Molehill. Indiegogo's up. And, yeah, if you want to talk promotional-wise.
Sure. Well, it's going to be a really cool movie, I think. It's something that we've been working pretty hard on for about 6 or 7 months, roughly. That's right. I should probably let you do the synopsis and all, but how long... Actually, I have a question for you, even. How long has this been around for you, actually?
A while. I kind of always... Well, the basic premise is that this Chinese railroad worker gets killed by a grizzly bear, and so his little daughter, she's like 8 years old, goes and takes his shotgun and tries to go kill it.
That's awesome.
I know. A revenge tale.
I'm already
on board.
Cool. That's good. That's a good sign. I've had it for a while, kind of. I don't know. I always saw it as sort of like an R-rated Disney movie sort of thing. So, yeah, it's
like Brave with more death.
Yeah. I describe it as Dora the Explorer meets There Will Be Blood.
Nice.
Yeah, it's about tonally what I want to do with it. But, yeah, I don't know. I'd had the script for a while, took it around to producers like Alex and everyone. It used to be like a 30-page short film odyssey, unshootable sort of thing. But, yeah, a year or two now.
And don't forget the bear.
Yeah, the bear. We definitely have a bear, and it's definitely
How do you
Actual,
have a bear?
real, live bear.
Yeah, we just are going up into the mountains. We're going to go find one. And put this little girl in front of
Lure
it.
it with uncooked steak.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
We're going to cover a small Chinese girl with meat.
Yeah, exactly. Tie some fish to her. Yeah. Well, I can't really confirm anything with that. I mean, we have the bear, but we legally. Same with the train. We have trains and bears and all that good stuff. Yeah.
Was it harder to find a train or a bear?
The bear in terms of affordability, but
Okay.
the train in terms of
Availability?
yeah, exactly, yeah.
You can always buy a bear. With enough money,
Yeah,
you can buy a
exactly.
bear, is what you're saying.
Yeah,
Enough money won't necessarily buy you a train.
true, exactly.
So have you raised all the money for your Indiegogo thing?
It just went up the other
Nice.
day. Yeah,
Cool.
And it's sort of picking up steam now, actually. But yeah, we're on here to promote that, and
Why Indiegogo instead of Kickstarter? Just out of curiosity.
'cause we have plenty of funding to make it bare bones, just shoot it sort of thing, and so we'd like to make it as good as it can be, and so Kickstarter with the whole you don't get the money unless
you succeed to a certain
yeah. And Indiegogo has been good in the past with past films that we've done. And it just tends to have a little more user-friendly integration into Facebook and all that.
Cool.
So what are each of your jobs on the movie?
I wrote and directed it, and then I'll have some weird producer title with the money being thrown into
Executive.
it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Executive decision. Remember that movie with Kurt Russell?
Hell yes. Oliver Platt. He puts a toothpick in the bomb. It's awesome.
Yeah. Resident Kurt Russell too.
Yes.
So, yeah. Alex, you're producing.
Yes, I am producing.
What's your job as a producer?
Well, it's
Various tasks.
yeah.
This
it's been-
is my hard hitting
I get
questions.
I get lunch every now and then.
sometimes. Jesse and I go and get Chinese food every
Nice.
about 3 times a week. No, really, it's been. Lately it's been all bear related because it's been trying to make sure that we're doing the right thing there and talking to the right people and has been kind of tough. I mean, there's a few options and
Really?
it's kind of
Wow.
I just learned something totally new today. That there's options for bears to be in movies in Colorado.
Yeah, I'm
Well,
gonna just
not-
start making bear movies.
not in Colorado.
Wow.
Actually.
Oh.
Well, I mean, grizzly bears aren't exactly. They're not
They're
around.
not- no,
in
they're not.
Colorado. So
Well, neither are alligators, but I can get those in Colorado.
can you? Yeah.
Oh
In
yeah,
sewers.
I can find you alligators in Colorado. No, really. You go down to the Great Sand Dunes. There's a farm down there.
Oh, right
Yeah.
on.
I'm just saying. If you ever make an alligator movie, I want producer credits.
I will.
I've
I
been
will
looking-
definitely. Oh,
I've been
you
looking
know
for an
it's
alligator
coming.
guy.
It's happening.
I have this movie about a Mexican girl who wanders into a swamp to kill an alligator that I just wrote 2 seconds ago.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, it's going to be great.
Oh, wow.
I'm putting it on.
Well, you should probably just keep.
I need a
keep us-
producer,
Keep
so
us
if you're-
posted because I think we're like.
Shouldn't it be
I
a
think we're-
French Cajun
I-
girl who wanders into a swamp? It
Uh,
makes more sense for an alligator than a Mexican girl. A Mexican girl would be, I don't know, a chupacabra or something.
Yeah, but I
I
don't
mean-
know where to find a chupacabra farm.
These are all.
Dude, don't you ever watch Monster Hunters?
I do.
I'm just kidding. I've never seen it.
I have seen
I've never
Mountain
seen it.
Monsters.
Have you
yes.
really?
Yep.
What's the point of that show? Because they're never going to. Obviously, they're never.
No,
gonna
they
film
never.
anything.
They never find anything.
I don't.
Spoilers.
That's the-
They just put cages in the woods, and then they drink beer and watch
Oh
them.
hey.
Oh, hey.
Well,
Shit, Brad's
well.
How's it going, Brad?
Well, now we can't.
Nah. But anyways,
Glad to see you're alive and in one piece.
we're talking about jobs on the movie, and we went
Finding
on this
bears.
weird tangent
This weird
Uh,
bear
about,
movie.
about bears and alligators, and
It's the whole thing has been ongoing. I mean, the bear thing has been easily the most exciting part of the whole thing. Just not really knowing what to expect from that, and asking around and seeing what's actually available and what's economically viable. But as far as duties are concerned, I mean, we shot this. We had to do this trailer independently of the project, just to, on one hand, to raise awareness, and on another hand, it was basically like this big trial and error deal for the art department, and it really is an art department movie through and through. It's taking place in the late 1800s. Like, you may be out in the middle of nowhere, but it's still like everything from the wardrobe and all the extras we'll have to have, and it's pretty. I mean, there's a lot that you have to be super cautious about. I mean, you can't try to fake a lot of the stuff and have people believe that it's 1800s transcontinental railroad deal. Like, it's kind of you have to respect the story that you're trying to tell, and so a lot of the work was basically just kind of doing like a fantasy draft, getting a lot of our favorite people together that we all really like that could do good work, and getting that trailer made was actually a good long. I mean, that was hard. Just I don't know how many shots are in that trailer, but it feels like when you watch it, it's like, wow, that was a lot of work that went into that 1 minute thing, and we gotta boost that like by 1,000% for the actual thing. But I don't know. I mean, I'm calmer on this than I've ever been on anything else, and considering that this is probably the biggest thing that I've tried to do with anybody else, it's really I'm thankful that there are this many awesome, totally super creative people that are really good at collaborating with others, that are willing to like come together under one roof and try to do this. Because without these guys, it would never ever happen. And obviously, our director's pretty all right. You know,
Nice.
so,
Nice.
Aaron,
yeah.
I assume that you play the little Chinese girl?
Exactly.
Actually, you're a recast.
bitches. Wait,
You know,
that's
I've
Japanese.
accepted the typecast at this point. You know, I do little Chinese girls. Rest of my career, that'll be fine. No, actually, I am an actor, though. I'm not acting in Mount Mohill. I am hoping to get a grip credit. It would be an awesome project just to be involved in and to work on. Although I am in the promotional video without my pants on.
Whoa,
Ladies.
which should bring in some money, I would
Yeah.
think. Which, yeah.
Cool.
Other than that, no, I'm just I'm happy to be involved in this project any way that I can. So.
Awesome.
And he makes a really good Superman. I'm just saying.
You know, you do have a
It's like-
Clark Kent vibe. I can feel it. I can feel it.
From way across the room.
I can.
You still feel it.
I can. Yes, ladies, I can feel it from all the way on the other side of the room.
He actually promised me that he was going to dress up as Superman for Parody Rises at Comic-Con.
Nice.
So, you know, that's like a month away. So, hope you're ready
Yeah, I'm
to
hitting the gym.
soup out. All right. All right.
Without his pants on.
Yeah,
Which
have-
we'll see how
have
DCC
red
feels about
underoos on.
We'll see.
So, where can we find you guys? Where can we donate? How can we donate? And what perks do we get for donating?
I'm going to give this to Jesse.
Yeah, nice strategy there. We are on Indiegogo. Just search Mount Molehill and all that. You can also look on AR Works Productions Facebook page, Urban Lights Entertainment Facebook page, Epicene Entertainment's Facebook page, because we've got like two or three other producers as well. Yeah, but mostly, and LukeAskelson.com. It should be on there pretty soon, the trailer and all that. Perks. I'll probably hand it back over to you if I forget any. We got some nice sort of special features things that we're doing. Like we're going to have a whole behind-the-scenes short film made about the making of it sort of thing. And then a lot of associate producer credits, IMDb credits. If you donate, I can't remember whatever amount, we'll pay for you to get into a national park anywhere in the country for free.
That's a cool
That's a neat one, yeah.
And yeah, like 10% of every dollar goes to Denver Children's Home. So
now you're helping a movie. You're helping a
Yeah.
charity. Donate, assholes.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah. You said it, not me. But yeah. But yeah. So there's plenty of perks, and then plenty of heartstring incentives like that. Yeah.
That's
Am
very
I
cool.
forgetting anything?
I mean, there's the... no, that's pretty much it. There's also... I mean, the top perk... we're going to have anybody who's willing to
You can take a
be
photo
that
with the bear.
generous. I mean, we're talking about adding a perk, so, you never know.
How much
But
get to ride the bear? That's
oh,
what I
man,
want.
That would be so cool. I mean, we have to.
Is
I
the
mean,
bear
it's
going to be on a
long, lengthy,
unicycle
a lot of
in
paperwork
this movie?
and like I don't know. I mean, no promises, but there is definitely a perk in there where I think it's the highest one. But I mean, we could come to set regardless of where you're from, and you could stay with us. So I think we're going to be camping for about 6 or 7 days, just sort of as a unit out there in the wilderness, film with this little girl, and you can come out and spend some time, meet the cast and crew, and get an autographed script, and all that other fun stuff. But I don't know. We spent a lot of time on the whole thing, making sure that if you are willing to, whether or not you're a filmmaker or whether or not you know who we are, that there's still something that you get back that is beneficial. I think Indiegogos and Kickstarters at this point, especially when it comes to just being fed through social media, are just completely. I mean, I know that. I've got on one hand, we're all broke and we're all trying to make movies and do what we love to do and everything, and so that doesn't help. And many of us donate what we can when we can, but it's gotten to a point where it's oversaturated, and it's just like I can't go on Twitter or Facebook without seeing 6-7 movies that are all saying like, "Hey, we'll give you an IMDb credit or whatever," and it's like that's great to a certain point, but like what's your movie about, and like, do I want my name on it, and like, does somebody who doesn't necessarily know anything about you want their name on it, and so there's did spend a lot of time talking about why we're doing this. Like why, like Jesse said, like we are in a position that we could make this movie, I guess, without additional support, but it would be a very different animal entirely.
Like an alligator.
It would be a lot more like an alligator than a
Yeah.
bear, which isn't
Yeah.
exactly like what we're, we spent a lot of time trying to make it more of a bear than an alligator.
Yeah.
So, it's just at this point, like I wouldn't be surprised if just a few years from now that these things start to if the model will eventually change, and really the conversation started from the get go. Like, I think we had even some conversation at some point, like what would happen if we just had one perk, and how could we actually make that work, and how could we make that worth whoever's going to spend whatever money, and would that be interesting? Would it be enough to like switch it up and make it so we've got their attention just on that alone? Or I don't know. I just feel like it's such a. I mean, it's sort of a shame to admit, but I'm not even projects that I want to help. I can't always help, and in other cases, it's I could maybe give them $5, but I'm not. Maybe I'm not feeling like it's worth it to me or even worth it to them. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, maybe, sure, I could definitely give them $5, but I'm not seeing, when they've got their $15,000 goal and they've got 2 days to go, and they've only got $100 on their campaign. Like me giving them $5 for a pat on the back, it doesn't really make a lot of sense at a certain point.
I think the difference, because you're right, like it is getting very saturated. I think that the hope is that where that whole sort of market goes is that it sort of separates, and you get the movies that are actually really interesting and are the reason that you want to support them is because you want to see the movie, not because like you want to necessarily support somebody in their dream, right? So like the difference here, like this one is really cool because you pitched me that story in one line, and I was like, fuck yeah, I want to see. I don't know the rest of the story, but it seems really cool. It's got a good hook, and I want to see this movie, and that is enough to make me want to support it. Because if I can't see it in a theater for $10 if you guys don't make it, so I might as well give you $10 and you guys go make it, and me and everybody else who wants to see it. But yeah,
Sure.
there are so many projects out there that it's really just about being able to differentiate between the ones that are actually worth a damn and the ones that aren't. I think especially if you guys can already do it and you can produce something really short and cool and be like, look, we can get a motherfucking bear. Like, this is going to be a cool thing. That sort of separates you from the chaff in some ways, which is cool.
Yeah. And I mean, really, this goes without saying, and it's everybody's argument, but it really starts with the story, and it starts with a good script, and like you can ask for however much money you want to make a crazy epic sci-fi wannabe Star Wars thing or whatever. But if it isn't fresh and it isn't, I don't know. I've got a lot of confidence in everybody working on this, and from the get-go, I felt like the script was worth seriously investing in. And I think with a little bit of extra help, I mean, we really can push this thing to heights that I'm not even sure that I can fathom right now.
That's awesome.
So,
And I think, too, anyone just going and seeing the trailer that we've managed to put together will be convinced of the quality of this project. It's not just, someone, because they've seen the pitches of someone saying they have a great idea, and it's just video of them giving their pitch on their little DSLR they have set up in their bedroom. And that could turn out to be something great, but what you've already managed to do with the music and with the the adorable lead, this girl,
The bear,
and the bear,
of course.
you've already the trials you've already had to go through with the art department, getting that look that you've already managed to do, even at this point before the major production has begun, is a testament to what you will be able to do, especially if you get the full funding that you want to.
that's true.
For sure.
Cool.
So anyway, do you have anything else you'd like to add on that note, Jesse?
I guess, yeah, we'd like your time just to watch the trailer and the pitch video, because we did put a lot of effort into, we were just constantly saying, why should people care in terms of the Indiegogo pitch video and the trailer and all that. So we took that conscious effort to at least make it entertaining. So at the very least, if you wouldn't mind watching the trailer, that'd be awesome. And yeah, we look forward to maybe your support.
And even if you can't, like if you're those people who right now you can't give, like just if it looks cool, tell your friends.
Yeah, I mean, that's insanely helpful. Just word of mouth is huge.
For sure.
Spread it. Spread it wide. Wait for it. Okay. Thanks for coming by, guys. We really
That was
appreciate it. We wish you the best of luck, and it sounds really cool. Anytime you have a bear with something, I think you have a winner. I think you have a winner. If you're wondering what we do on Real Nerds Podcast, every week we go see a new movie and we podcast our experience to the world. This week we went and saw Godzilla.
Ooh.
Stay tuned for the end of the show for
Brad,
Godzilla.
you gotta like throw that scream into the background every time we say Godzilla. So it's like Godzilla.
It's Gojira, you
Yeah.
morons.
Oh, I like that movie.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
What's up with that? Can we just turn the show into you talking about
Why I
why you
like
like the Broderick?
Defend yourself.
No, I won't. I can't. I can't defend myself. I owned it on DVD. That's how much I.
Hey,
like it.
Independence Day is
Yeah.
great.
Independence Day is
He's-
great.
The
Great.
guy's made good movies.
Yeah. Yes.
Movies.
No.
Movie.
90s. The 90s were his time.
Yeah.
I like The Patriot.
I thought 2012 was just like the best thing ever. But
Yeah.
that's just me.
I while I think you're
I
insane,
laughed a lot. Like,
yeah. Oh,
Is that the last movie John Cusack has done?
probably.
I have not
no,
seen-
The Raven.
Oh, that's
What was
right. He
that?
did do The Raven.
Oh, like
Yeah, where he
Like
plays
Edgar Allan Poe?
Poe.
Oh.
He plays Sherlock Holmes's Edgar Allan Poe.
Oh, I forgot about
They
that.
said, "Oh, Robert Downey Jr. is really good. Let's
Yeah.
steal this."
What if
movie."
what if this time it was a poet?
Cool.
Yeah. Man.
So
That
you
movie's
guys-
horrible.
You guys all just saw Godzilla for the first time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll review it. We'll get there.
Okay.
We'll get there. But first, we got to do some other
Excited.
stuff. Ryan, what
Oh, yeah?
else do we have to do?
First, we have to tell people that now if you buy your tickets to Denver Comic Con, because now you can also get a ticket to see the Star Trek The Next Generation reunion
Oh, yeah.
show
Hell yeah.
at the Belco Theater that we were told about at which one we go to, Anime Land, Wasabi,
Yeah.
that we could
Yeah.
finally say that we knew was happening. So, woo! Yeah.
Oh,
Yay.
Great job, Denver Comic Con.
All right.
They didn't specifically tell us who it was going to be, but they told us that there was going to be a Belco Theater experience that you would have to do as well. But you know what's weird? It says the Next Generation reunion, but why is William Shatner
hosting
in it?
Yeah,
Because
and
he's a really great host.
I guess, yeah.
Like, yeah.
You know, I went for Peter Mayhew instead of Shatner last year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I had like the $50. And I was like, oh, you know, Peter Mayhew's probably coming back. Shatner's not. I don't know.
Yeah, it is really interesting. They're only there for that night, though. But I was digging through the Comic-Con's guests and looking at the prices of autographs or pictures. Adam West is $80. That's really expensive.
Whoa.
But you know what? It might be worth it if
Yeah.
you could. If they actually, had the Blu-rays come out beforehand and. Yeah, it is $1 for how old he is.
Oh.
That's pretty good.
He's like, he probably doesn't care. And what if he has? There's in the new season of Family Guy, there is Adam West as the mayor, completely naked, and he presses his dick up against a window. Do you think he'll have that shot that he'll have autograph for you at Denver Comic Con? I would
I'm
pay
hoping
$80
so.
for that.
I
to
mean,
be
I would
signed.
pay $80 for that, most definitely. Yeah, with it being Batman's 75th and all, I wouldn't be surprised if he's not. Anybody that's coming, because there's Robin, Catwoman,
Yeah.
Kevin Conroy.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, that's insane.
Is Julie Newmar still
Kevin-
hot? Because
Kevin
she's really
Conroy's-
sexy in the 60s. Is
Is
there a chance she's still hot?
I'm
What could
sure.
possibly
Old
go
lady
wrong?
hot.
Yeah.
Like,
Man, of course she is.
yeah.
I'd do her.
In a Harold and Maude kind of way.
Right.
I also have some cool news, too. Birdman Barbecue is no longer Birdman Barbecue. They've actually gone bigger. They're called Pam Poms, and it's...
Isn't that what they were called before?
It was, and then they switched to Birdman, but Jay, the owner of it, his grandfather, that was his nickname,
Yeah.
and they kind of changed to Birdman, and then when Jay's father passed away, they kind of went back to, their old school ways, and now they have like way more flavors, and they have their own like hot wing sauce. And every Saturday they're at the Lone Tree Farmers Market in Colorado.
Really?
So yeah, go check them out.
It's like right close to me.
I know you can. They have like
there.
they're going to have an apricot new barbecue sauce coming out, and it's a really cool new logo, and really excited for them. So say hi.
Very cool. Yeah, go check them out. Shit's good.
We do lots of movie shit on this podcast. Box office numbers, stuff that's coming out, news, reviews, comic books. Do you have a comic book this week, James?
Fuck.
I have one. It's cool.
Good.
And so you guys are more than welcome to sit through the whole thing. If you don't want to, you want to say, hey, fuck you guys, I hate you. We can do the Godzilla review first. You guys can decide.
I'm fine with.
You're going to stay?
Whatever.
All right,
cool.
We love it.
Cool.
Brad's just going to sit there and shut up. Shut the fuck up, Brad.
I mean,
won't
I'd
say
like to
anything
just go ahead and admit that this morning I picked up for the first time a copy of The Dark Knight Returns, which is probably there's a bit of blasphemy in there, but I've never touched.
Hey,
but I mean,
You already read The Killing Joke? I've read The Killing Joke, and I'm even
Really?
like Batman's biggest fan. You piece of shit.
Brad is saying that he has never read The Killing Joke.
See, even I've read that one. I'm not very good at keeping up with things.
Yeah. Hey, everybody's got to read The Dark Knight Returns for the first time at some point. Like,
Yeah.
And as someone who's currently like going through my list of shame and clicking, checking off movies that I've never seen, that it's horrible that I've never seen. Don't spoil what you see on my screen.
Tell me what he has on his screen.
No, don't.
Now.
No, don't.
Fuck
Actually,
him.
you already know about this one. But anyway, everybody's got to jump in at some point.
Yeah.
Well, given the fact that Alex has, produced a Batman parody film that we'll be showing at Comic-Con, maybe there's a little more.
All right, fine.
Maybe.
Yeah, way to throw him under the
Maybe.
bus. Like I was trying to
I'm
like.
just
So
saying.
thanks for the promotion.
Are you going to be at the Real Heroes?
Yes,
thing?
indeed.
Cool. We are too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
We made some stuff.
We made some stuff.
That's awesome.
But yeah, you were at Comic-Con last year. You can hear an interview with you.
Yeah. Yep.
You can go listen to yourself.
You can go listen
talk
to yourself
us.
talk about Parody Rises on our podcast where we talk. I love hearing myself. I listen to our podcast usually every week.
Yeah.
And I'll be like on the elliptical working out. I'm like, oh, I'm so funny. Anyways, yeah.
Yeah. No, I actually, I listen to your guys' stuff.
Oh,
pretty
thanks.
often.
We appreciate
Yeah.
that.
Oh, thanks.
I did the whole 2.5 hours of Spider-Man 2, and then I was like,
Nice.
oh,
That
man,
was a big argument one. Usually when the room was divided in half because Brad's a fucking idiot.
Which is why he doesn't have a mic.
He doesn't have
Well,
a
I
mic
mean, the
today,
first
so
time
again-
I saw Spider-Man 1, I was just like, I think I walked out with the third act fresh in my mind, and I was just like, man, it was just like, I'm not even sure how I feel about it. Like, I don't think I love it. And then watched it a second time and was like, what am I still expecting cinematic excellence out of a comic book movie? Like, and I loved Spider-Man 2, all contrived bad guy stuff aside and all that. Like, I thought it was great.
Yeah, here's the thing: is I'm not the best gauge because I love Spider-Man so much.
Yeah.
So they do a lot of fan service, and I'm like, oh,
Yeah, no, right. I mean, but that's to a great degree. That's what it is. I mean, you have enough of a story to string things along. It's got to be mildly compelling, and you'll have your pitfalls. But
yeah. I did
as
have
long
my
as it
only
delivers.
complaint about it is I didn't like that Electro had like lightning bolts, cartoon lightning bolts on his costume. That was lame. That was unnecessary.
Yeah, see, when
guys.
that's as bad as it gets,
Yeah.
as far as complaints, like
Yeah, exactly. I mean, still a cool movie. He killed one guy and brought him back to life.
yeah.
You don't mess with Electro. Anyways, this is the stuff we've been watching this week.
So, this is the stuff we've been watching.
Long pause.
It's gonna be a cool
pause,
summer.
Long pause. Long pause.
It's not the long pause doesn't work for Brad if you say long
that's
pause.
right. That's right. Sorry, Brad. It doesn't matter. Brad doesn't have a mic. He can't do anything about it. So this segment, guys, we talk about stuff we've been watching throughout the week. If you guys want to start, you can, or we can start so you can kind of get the mojo going.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Cool, yeah. So I saw a few things this week. I rewatched Castaway, which I haven't seen in a long
Oh
time.
man, I've been itching to.
And it's it's still a great movie.
Yeah.
Maybe one of the best performances by a single actor for an extended period of time with not really saying anything on screen.
There aren't so many movies that could pull that off.
No, and it's just and visually it's still really cool.
Yeah.
The plane crash still looks amazing. When he's coming up and the plane is sinking in the water.
Yeah.
It's amazing how well that effect shot holds up. The big ship, not quite as much, even on Blu-ray. You can see little jaggies on it, but still a great movie.
Is it Robert Zemeckis' best film? Not your favorite.
Maybe. There is an argument there for me for Back to the Future.
Right. No, I mean, that's the other one, right? Like, it's either that or it's Back to the Future.
Yeah, because
I mean, they're totally different
Yeah,
animals.
that's so
Exactly.
hard.
No, I know. That's why I said
so
best,
hard.
not favorite, right? Like, no, it's not Roger Rabbit.
Roger Rabbit's a great
Robert
movie,
Rabbit,
too.
Roger Rabbit is great, but fucking Castaway. Like, man, he pulls off standing at a crossroads at the end of that movie.
Yep.
Like, he pulls that shot off. Like, nah, I love that movie.
And
I
love
cry
Tom Hanks.
every time.
Who doesn't love Tom Hanks?
Yeah.
I've been on a big Tom Hanks kick. I've bought a lot of his movies that I haven't had a chance to watch yet because I also watched the whole second season of Game of Thrones.
Is he in that?
No, he should be.
It's just a weird segue.
Dude, I found out Peter Dinklage is American. I always thought he was British.
Oh, yeah. Because
Yeah.
of that movie with the death at a funeral.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know why you don't like the show, James. I think it's really well done. I think the acting's good. I don't think it's as like crude as you think it is either.
Wait,
It's-
somebody does not like Game of Thrones.
James
Yeah,
hates it.
I pretty fucking hate that show.
Really?
Yeah.
I've seen 2 episodes and I think you're crazy.
That's cool. I think that show is a god awful mess. But we'd have to go back to past episodes where it was fresh in my mind for me to like create a really good argument.
But you know, to be fair to James, he also watched a complete season of Two Broke Girls. So
wait! No, I turned the finale off halfway through because it was the same jokes. They were just longer. Because that was the finale
that
was an
saves
hour
it.
long, so they just made the
Yeah.
jokes
So
longer.
he only watched 22 episodes, guys. Okay.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
let's
well,
be
22
fair.
and 22 and a half.
Yeah, let's be fair. But no, I think the show's really well done. I think the stories are really compelling. It's really interesting where they don't focus on the battles in the show. They actually just focus on the relationships between the people. Except for, I think, the second to last episode, there's a huge battle where people are getting slashed in half.
Which
It's
is
pretty
cool. It's really cool.
And there's, it's really not like graphically tons of nudity. I got this big sense from people who would hype and say, "Oh, there's tons of nudity and stuff." Hey,
It's not. You've watched a lot of Spartacus.
just enough for me.
I love Spartacus.
It's not Spartacus.
And Spartacus, people are decapitated while they're fucking. So
Right.
to
No.
me, that is.
Really?
Oh
I need
yeah.
to
yeah.
watch this.
No.
Oh, dude, you need to watch Spartacus because it's produced by Sam Raimi and Rob
Oh,
Tapert,
really?
so it's looks really cool and it's super over the top.
Oh, yeah.
It looks the first few episodes feel like 300. It has the same kind of slow motion, this and that, and then around the third or fourth episode it starts hitting its stride, and it gets really bloody and amazing.
Yeah.
Political backstabbing, Lucy Lawless naked in every episode.
Oh, bummer.
Xena.
Guys, wieners in every episode. If you're into that,
Bummer?
yeah, to some, or some people be like, nice. But no,
Bold, for sure.
Yeah, I actually really like Game of Thrones.
I think it's interesting. There's a part of me that wants to go back and rewatch it, specifically because I think you're having a different experience than I do.
Yeah,
so
I'm
like,
curious. How does it hit you that you don't?
So part of my one of my biggest problems with the show is I think it's written incorrectly. I think that they should have written that show the way that they write like Lost or Mad Men, where each episode they deal primarily with mostly one character, so that episode has an arc. So because Ryan is watching it like episode, and not waiting week to week, I feel like he's probably getting a more cohesive story than when you're watching it on the air.
I would agree with that because I think
Because I think like each episode is kind of a mess. Like they
I'm talking,
give you
James.
they give you clips of story, but they don't actually progress the story in an episode.
No, I think you're right. I think too that's why I really enjoyed Lost. And
Yeah.
I really enjoyed the finale. A lot of people had the problem with the finale of Lost, but I actually thought it tied up everything really well because I watched Lost season 1 to the finale.
Right.
I didn't have any interruptions. I didn't have the writer strike to worry about.
Yeah.
Seriously, like straight through.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you're probably right on Game of Thrones because I can see too how it might be a little jumbled.
Yeah. It's a show that you have to sort of live in, I think, to really enjoy, which is why the fans like it so much because they've read the books, they already know what's going on. Like for them, it's just reenactment. I think it's a show that you've got to be very present inside of. You can't watch it like Now, I say that there's still shit I think is really bad about that show. Like, I think they make some horrible mistakes in the way that they write it, and some of the stories that they tell. And
You know what,
and things
James?
like
You
that.
can write
But
a better episode. You fucking write it.
I
I don't see Game of Thrones. HBO.
Like I said,
knocking
I
on your
had to
door.
watch
Right.
the pilot more than once just to get
Understand
a grip
what
And
the
I'm
fuck
not a
was
big
going
fan
on.
of the
No,
pilot. Actually,
Kinda.
it's okay.
I thought the ending at the time where the last shot of the
Sure.
thing, I was like, wow, I'm going
Yeah.
to watch that again,
Yeah.
like immediately.
No,
yeah.
And it wasn't for a lack of thinking that, I mean, I'm sure I would have caught on and figured out like exactly what was going on with everybody pretty quick after that, but it knocked my socks off. Like the very end of that, and I wasn't sure. I was like, so like they're banging, and like I think they're related, but I'm not sure because I haven't read the books. But
They got the same
whether
hair,
or
so
not
they must be brothers
whether or
and
not
sisters.
they're actually related, they still push the kid out the window, and awesome. That's like cool.
you know what's cool too is the Blu-rays. This might help you too, James. The Blu-rays actually have an interactive map that you select each little area, and it gives you the history of the whole
This is
area.
getting nerdy.
Oh god, this
And-
is too much reading.
And it's pretty fascinating. So yeah, that was fun. I also watched a movie called Frankenstein Created Woman. I love horror films, and what's really cool lately on Blu-ray is this isn't a Scream Factory, but I love Scream Factory because they put out stuff like Psycho 2 on Blu-ray and They Live and things like that. But this one is the Hammer collection, and I've only seen one Hammer horror film, and it's Dracula AD, which one everybody's seen. And we were at Tradesmart, and I was flipping through, like, man, I should get another movie. I don't know what I want to get. And there in like pink lettering, it said Frankenstein Created Woman, and then on the cover is this girl in bandages and Peter Cushing like as Victor Frankenstein. I'm like, yeah, fuck it, I'll get it. And it starts really, really slow.
Is it supposed to be a comedy or a horror?
Horror.
Okay.
It is horror. But I will say this. When it gets going, it's actually pretty good.
Huh.
It has this weird Romeo and Juliet kind of feel to it, where this Victor Frankenstein's assistant is in love with this deformed girl in town, and he sees her beauty, and she's picked on by the rich kids in town. And by kids, I mean they're probably like in their 20s, but the rich kids in town are mean to her. And the shopkeeper in town is murdered, and they think that her boyfriend, the Victor Frankenstein's assistant, killed him, so he's sent to the guillotine and gets his head chopped off, and she kills herself, throws herself in the river, and Frankenstein finds out that you can be dead for 60 minutes because your soul doesn't leave your body. So he transfers his assistant's soul into this woman, Frankenstein's lady monster. Yeah, the premise is really stupid. But the girl goes from being deformed to like a super hot 60s chick. And it turns into a revenge film where, because she has the thinking of the assistant, she goes off and is going to kill all the guys who wrongly accused him of killing the shopkeeper.
Mm-hmm.
And she uses her sexuality to lure them and put their guard down. And it's really fascinating. It's a really fascinating movie. It's not one of my top 100 horror films, but I enjoyed it more than I thought I was going to.
Yeah.
Because it takes about an hour to get going.
Wow.
You're like, well,
And it's only an hour and 15 minutes long. So.
yeah, it's like an hour and 40 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah, and it has the Romeo and Juliet thing, and it has beats of Frankenstein too, the Boris Karloff Frankenstein, which is a brilliant movie if you haven't seen that one.
Yeah.
And the last thing I saw this week, I actually saw with Brad. Me and Brad went to the Alamo. They have a special screening of thing called Video Vortex. A Video Vortex, and I didn't know they were doing this, is they show videotapes on a VCR, and the VCR is literally set up on stage, and they walk in and they put the tape in.
Whoa.
Wow.
Yeah. And me and Brad went and saw a movie called Hawk Jones. It was $1. And Hawk Jones is a movie where all the actors in it are under the age of 12. And it's basically a Lethal Weapon where the one little black kid gets a little black girl as his partner, and he works alone. And and they shoot each other, and it's a drug cartel, and the kids are horrible actors, But for some reason, this movie works because the reason it works is the director had a vision and he totally stuck with it. He didn't try to, get better performances out of the kids. He didn't try to sugarcoat them. I mean, they shoot each other. One of my favorite little bits in it is Hawk Jones and his partner Hawk Jones breaks into the drug dealer's house because his partner's been kidnapped. And this guy's chasing him around and he goes into the bathroom and Hawk Jones goes into this stall and the other kid goes into the stall to get him. He realizes Hawk Jones is in there. He shuts the door and throws a grenade in there. And then when it blows up, he's like, ha, 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 and he runs away. And then there's a part where Hawk Jones does karate. There's some really funny lines in it. Your mama, you're so ugly that the doctor smacked your mama. And delivered by kids who don't know how to do acting. And it's
Right.
They have these really long reactions to things, and I want to buy the DVD. There's a 25th anniversary DVD of it.
Is it really?
Yeah, and I went online and I couldn't find it. You can digitally download it if you go to hawkjonesmovie.com for $3.99. And the director actually made it high definition and added flashing. Because I should also say in the movie the guns don't fire. It says pow, pow, pow and stuff like that. But they went through and they added after effects of real gunfire and blood in the 25th anniversary one.
You can get a VHS of it for $42 on Amazon.
Only $42.
Only 42.
That's almost as much as a VHS.
That is
of Brink.
that's some great cover art, though.
Yeah, right.
I like it.
So yeah, Brad, do you have anything to add about Hawk Jones?
I think you covered it. It was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to describe, but you know what I mean.
There's no story to pick apart. I mean,
no. You know what's funny though is I really love the soundtrack. The soundtrack was totally 80s synth, Lethal Weapon.
What's it got on Rotten Tomatoes?
saxophone. Yeah. No, it was fun. I mean, for $1,
yeah, it's
can't complain too much. And yeah, this story's simple. Yeah,
Came out in
kids'
88.
reactions, huh?
yeah. James and Alex are actually watching it right now and laughing. 'Cause
We're looking at Rotten Tomatoes.
It's got no reviews yet, but it's got 50% likes by the audience.
nice, but
Wow.
it's a goofy movie. But it's only $1. The next video Vortex is Demon Warp, which I have no idea what it is, but I might go see it for $1. Fuck it. Who
Would they
cares?
ever do something like Star Wars or something like that?
No, the creative director there said he wants movies that hardly anybody's seen, and
Now I can totally stand behind that, but a lot of us haven't seen Star Wars properly in 20 years.
Well, you might be getting a Blu-ray of it soon.
Yeah, I'm hoping so.
There were rumors this week that there might be, now that
Disney.
now that the extended universe is decanonized and Lucas is a little bit outside now, they're thinking there are rumors that they're going to drop a good Blu-ray of Star Wars.
One in which Han actually does shoot first.
Right. One that is the original cut. Hopefully the original cut with the THX remastering, but still.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. The Laserdisc version that you have.
Oh, no, but those were all destroyed, remember? They're gone forever. They don't exist anymore.
Well, then we can CJ the good back into them.
and that's what I watched this week.
Cool.
Way cool.
And the Dick Van Dyke Show.
Of course.
Yeah, it was great.
Whoever
wants to go next.
You guys got anything cool?
Yeah. I guess since we're kind of making a Western, I've been going back and looking at all the classics.
Sweet.
And so I'm starting the Dollars trilogy again.
Cool.
So Fistful of Dollars was last night. Good stuff.
They found old stock footage from that, or not stock footage, but old deleted scenes from that movie.
Oh,
week.
really? From that one?
Yeah. You
Oh,
can go
wow.
look up. I don't remember which Dollars film it is. I think it's the first one. But yeah, they found deleted scenes that they remastered this week.
Oh, wow.
You can go look it
Yeah,
up.
I'll definitely have to check that out. It was weird watching it again because of that classic spaghetti western letterbox sort of thing.
Mhm.
In that one, it's very, very, very small. It's almost like they've expanded over the years. Yeah, because it's close. And then it's not a movie or anything, but Rick and Morty on Adult Swim. I've been watching that. It's Dan Harmon, after he was fired from Community, went and did that. And it's pretty good. It's very well written. Yeah, it's it's sort of like an adult Adventure Time, and sort of but pulling from Back to the Future and all that, where it's really, really, really sci-fi. And then just like old episodes of Conan, actually 90s episodes, VHS rips of that. Yeah, for whatever reason.
I have tapes of that too. My favorite segment from Conan when he was really late was Guess We'll Never Have Back.
He
had this pornographic cake maker guy, and he could never show him. And then the guy says, "Here, try this." He's like, "Oh, what is it?" It's like this beautiful cake. And Conan tastes it, and he starts gagging. He's like, "Ass cake." It's just stupid stuff like that.
That's perfect.
Where do you find those? Are they just on YouTube? Or
people just put up the whole hour. It's pretty nice. Yeah. He went to the Hasbro factory, got his own G.I. Joe made. Yeah, it's pretty terrible in a good way. But that's what I watched this week.
Cool. Nice. Love it.
Huh. I don't think I've watched a whole lot of stuff this week, but for whatever reason, I did watch the second half of Revenge of the Sith.
Nice.
The
good half.
The good. Could you call it that?
The opening sequence is really good.
The opening sequence starts with buzz droids and stuff. So I don't know what.
Well,
you're
the
talking about.
spaceships.
That's
zooming through.
And then about 30 seconds later, they start talking.
The lightsaber battle on the lava thing is badass.
I mean, that's great until they start getting tired. Until it's all just here, there,
still awesome.
Here, there.
It's cool when they're inside the building.
Right.
Yeah, for sure.
When it's going through when it's actually tearing through the structure and everything, like that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But I think about the halfway point was, and I mean, I can't even begin to tell you why. I mean, I've got that horrible Star Wars side of me that's like, I think it was, there might have been episode 7 news, and I was just like, oh man, like, let's just watch like a horrible movie to like get excited about 7. And then, so somewhere, I think I started it around the time when like
when he kills the Padawans?
No, when he goes into
scene.
the office and Mace Windu gets his arm cut off, and he's like screaming for 5 minutes, like, "No, oh no, my arm!"
Yeah,
I don't think it's 5 minutes. I love arguing.
It's really awkwardly long
because I love episode 3. And I would argue with people until I blew in the face.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm like, I've got Star Wars is easily the whole reason that I like love movies in general, and it's like as much as I could criticize those prequels or even the originals. I still, like, again, I put it in the other day. You know what I mean?
Right.
I was like, and I still can't stand it, and it hurts
to
hear certain lines. Like, it hurts really, really bad.
Oh, my God, you put on some weight.
Sometimes you watch that movie, and you're just like, you're
I'm
breaking
like,
my heart.
Oh, no. Seriously, you're killing me.
I'm just kidding. My wife walked in. She's pregnant. She's not really fat. Like me.
You lost the will to live.
I don't think I've seen episode 3.
What the fuck?
Then you are truly lost.
Whoa.
What's wrong with you, man?
Since I saw it in the theater
Oh,
the
yeah.
first time.
Oh,
But
okay.
actually,
All right.
I have to correct myself. I did see that Japanese redub.
No, what is this?
Oh, that's...
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about? Yeah. It's a version where they took the Japanese or Chinese version of it and translated that back into English.
Oh, no.
And showed the English subtitles.
Yeah.
Way better.
Hilarious.
Much better movie.
Yeah.
There's just something about, like, at the end of... there might not be the best and biggest arc between Anakin from episode 1, 2, and 3, or from 1, 2, 3, but he still had more than enough material to have a decent turn to the dark side, and when it all comes down to that, the way that was handled, that was out of all 3 parts, that's probably the biggest slap in the face to me. It was like you still had a kind of something that you could base like a reasonable turn on, and then really, like, I have a hard time not seeing like a million feasible logistical or logical options out of that scenario, other than just literally falling to your knees and saying, like, I'll just do whatever you want. Just don't kill her. And then from that point on, it just kind of turns into, like, okay, Obi-Wan says only a Sith deals in absolutes, okay? Like, I I may be getting super nitpicky at that point, but does that make Obi-Wan like a Sith? Like, I just can't. Every line is like, who did nobody proofread this thing? Like,
because
Nope. First draft.
totally. But you
it's
know
a
what I mean? I
frustrating
sat and
movie.
watched the whole thing, and that's probably the only thing I watched all week. So,
because at a certain
I
point
mean,
though, there's
it's
still
bad.
there's still a lot of shit that's good in those movies. You know, like
it's still Star Wars.
They're still really cool to watch.
Still
Like
Star Wars.
Duel of the Fates is still awesome. Lightsabers are still cool, and like, yeah, it's.
I don't know. For me, the really good parts of the prequels are far outweighed by the huge clusterfuck that everything
It's
else
hard.
was. I cannot, to this day, I cannot start a conversation about the prequels without getting just very upset.
It hurts.
It hurts so
It
bad.
hurts bad.
I highly recommend everybody to get the awesome Blu-ray set that came out, and seriously watch them from episode 1 straight through, and the prequels actually stand up a lot better. I still think Return of the Jedi might be the weakest one,
No.
special edition wise. Special edition one, they add an extra.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, there's some weird, strange, dead young guy who shows up.
See, I don't care about the ghost. I care about the horrible CGI monster that's singing.
Yeah. Oh gosh. Yeah, that's bad.
Jabba's
Oh,
palace.
Yeah.
what a great way to
Yeah.
like ruin an amazing sequence.
Yeah, because the Rancor is still really cool and stuff.
Yeah.
But that
well,
part,
and in that, and that's the problem. Like in that version, the Rancor is better because you don't have like the black line around it the way you did on the good VHS version. Like he touches up the right things, and then he's also like, "But fuck you! Now the Sarlacc's got a beak, man!" And you're like, "What the hell? Why did you do that?" I don't know.
The worst for me for the special features are in Empire when towards in the end of the Bespin scene where Vader, originally just says bring my shuttle, cuts to him being the shuttle. They add the additional scene of him actually walking to the shuttle
Yeah.
as if we didn't know where he was going, then walking off the shuttle into the into the Star Destroyer like we didn't know where he was going there, and that completely just ruins the pacing of that scene. It is bad.
Yeah. I think with prequels, for everything they do get wrong, I think it's still pretty great that John Williams didn't falter.
Yeah.
He stayed because he could have phoned it in.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, because like the Duel of the
Duel of the
Heroes,
Fates,
yeah.
it's still amazing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I had like a little bit of a heart attack the other day because I adore Michael Giacchino. Like he is maybe my favorite young working composer right now. But I saw his name in an article about Star Wars, and I died for a second because I was like, no, you can't do that. And sure enough, it was like, oh, but Michael Giacchino's not helping at all. Like it's just John Williams. I was like, okay, that's fine. Even if he helped, it's fine. But like, John Williams is still like you just can't beat him.
Yeah.
Man, the score to the Terminal's really good. I'm just gonna.
It actually is. I remember that
Oh.
one. Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway. Yeah. Cool. What'd you watch this week?
Oh,
Or
this
recently,
week?
if there's anything that sounds like.
Whose line is it anyway?
Yeah.
Nice.
Oh, man,
Any
yes.
fan of improv,
Nice.
just going on YouTube and seeing clips,
Yeah.
the best of, and he's just laughing out loud. It was, some of those moments that they have, and just you really have a respect for that people that can do improv on that level.
Yeah.
What else? Ooh, Italian Spider-Man.
Oh,
If you haven't seen
Respect
it.
women.
is that
Have you
one
guys seen it?
that
Is
they
that the
were
one where he's a
showing?
bad guy and Captain America's fighting him? That's the one we saw before. No, that's Turkey.
No.
Spider-Man.
That's right. That is Turkish.
The
yes.
Turkish Spider-Man.
What is this
No,
one?
It
Highly
was
recommended.
Yeah. Oh, if you haven't seen it, you really need to see this. Gives the feel of being shot in the 70s, but it was recently done, like in the I guess mid 2000s. I don't know when it was.
Yeah, it wasn't
shot.
that long ago.
It's got a 70s feel, and it's as if Spider-Man was a hero filmed in a 70s Italian movie. He's overweight. He's extremely womanizing. He smokes
Extremely.
constantly.
Yes.
It's so
A Spider-Man we all can get on board with.
He's got a huge mustache, which he at one point rips off, throws to a bad guy, and attaches to his forehead, makes his head explode. Then the mustache comes back, and he reattaches it. Yeah.
Oh wow!
Italian
Yeah,
Spider-Man.
the Italians are like, man, we just need to make everything excessive, you know? Like in zombie versus shark. It doesn't make sense.
How did you see it? Is it just online?
On YouTube.
Yeah, I forget exactly
This
who
is
turned me
some-
on to it, but just
I'm sure there's not real strong copyright laws on it. So,
and it's only
Cool.
like, how long is it? Like
It goes by quick. But I think it's like a half hour.
half hour?
Wow.
Something like
Yeah.
that.
oh my goodness,
It's so worth. It's
It
so
is,
worth it.
yeah.
Though.
wow.
It is amazing.
That's so good.
Cool. It's me now, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay,
finally.
cool.
Jeez.
So I watched The Terminal this week.
Nice.
Janusz Kaminski's really, really good. That's a good. The Blu-ray transfer is really good. The features on that are because we were talking about. Oh wait, actually, we didn't talk about this on the show last week. We talked about it after we were done recording. We talked about The Terminal, and that movie's really good. It's an interesting one because the Blu-ray or DVD in this case is worth it because there's actually some good interviews with Steven Spielberg on this one, and he straight up explains why he made the movie and why he sort of went through a couple movies in a row, including Catch Me If You Can, where he just wanted to make fun, lighthearted movies again. And he straight up says, like, it was all reactionary to the really dark, like, 10 years of movies that he made from basically Jurassic Park to AI, where, like, everything was depressing. And then suddenly he said, like, I need to make movies where there's lots of light. And things are white, and then there's good poppy music, and
That's good because Spielberg's a really fun filmmaker.
Oh yeah,
I mean he's a great filmmaker when it's Schindler's List and stuff. But you
Right.
forget, James is terrified of E.T., but E.T. is such a great lighthearted movie and lots of fun. And it's cool to see Spielberg do fun things. He's just a great filmmaker.
It's funny. I actually today watched because people, and we've talked about this before, people actually underestimate him. Like they look at him and they think he is this like popcorn filmmaker, and that's really at the end of the day all he's good at. But there was this really great feature that I saw today that was about how good he is at one shots, because he does it constantly and no one notices. Like Paul Thomas Anderson will do it and it's like 15 fucking minutes long and it's amazing, but it draws attention to itself. And he does these really great one shots that are 2 to 3 minutes long, and they're just as amazing, but you don't notice because they actually work as part of the film. And man, dude's super talented.
The Last Crusade, where Harrison Ford and Sean Connery are on the blimp and they're talking.
Yep.
It's literally just one shot of them side by side talking, and it's wonderful.
One of the ones that they pulled out is the entire drinking scene in Raiders of the Lost Ark is all
Yes,
one shot.
back
And
and
you never
forth.
realize because he sets it up as cross shots and intercuts, but he just moves the camera back and forth and you don't even notice. Like, you remember that scene as being multiple shots, even though it's not. It's really cool. Dude's real good.
Yeah.
And The Terminal is really good too, even though it's silly and weird and like makes up European
appropriate.
or Asian countries and things like that. But it's cool. And then I checked 2 movies off my list this week. I'll start with the other Steven Spielberg movie, which is that I finally saw Amistad, which I don't know why it's not. I mean, like Schindler's List, I didn't see it because it was really sad. But I've also heard middling things about it for a long time. And while it's not a movie, unlike Schindler's List, which I can see myself watching multiple times, despite how depressing it is, Amistad is less depressing, but I'll probably watch it less because I'm less interested in it for some reason. But I think it's really good. The whole speech at the end, John Quincy Adams' speech at the end is really smart. Just an amazing scene. So definitely worth checking out. The Blu-ray is okay. It's actually, the transfer of the Blu-ray is kind of horrible. There are some shots that are shaky and sort of messed up, and I don't know what that is. It's not like it's the shot. So when they cut to something else, it goes away. So there's something wrong with the transfer, I think. Because I even sort of went back, and I don't think it was that the disc was loading improperly or anything like that. I think there's just some shots that for some reason didn't get cleaned up properly. Maybe they're lost in time. Maybe we can never get a good version of it, but just not the most beautiful Spielberg transfer I've seen. But I'm glad that I saw it. It means I was looking at the list. There's only a couple of his movies that I've never seen, so I got to go back and see if I can find. I'm pretty sure you can find Amblin, but yeah, okay, you're shaking your head. I'm gonna find a copy of Amblin so that I can own that too. So then the other thing that I watched that I had never seen before was Gone with the Wind, so it's really bad that I'd never seen this movie, and even though it's really fucking long, it's really good. Like, I was afraid. This is one of the ones I bought when I first started doing this at the beginning of the year, and I kept putting it off because A, it's really long, and B, I was like, I've heard a lot about it. It's South or whatever, and it'll be some big epic, but I'll probably be disappointed, whatever. I was really engrossed in this movie and really love it, and will watch it again and again and again. It's a cool story, and that Scarlett is a really dynamic character for especially the time that movie was made. Like, Scarlett. Okay, all right, Brad.
Brad just said Scarlett O'Hara is a twat.
I don't entirely disagree. I think she's a really interesting character, and at the time that movie was made, they weren't making a lot of really interesting female characters.
You should have dropped her down that staircase.
Oh, I should have killed the baby before it was born. Anyway, I think she's fantastic. I think the performances are all really great, and I was always, even though it keeps telling, like, the story keeps changing, like what's going on in her life changes constantly. I was always really engrossed.
Isn't it amazing when you watch old movies like that and you don't understand the appeal of them when you're younger, and then when you watch them as you're older, like, oh, these movies are amazing, and you see the actors, Clark Gable or whoever it is, you can see why they're stars.
Yeah.
When I watched Psycho again recently, I mean, I've always loved Psycho, but now that I've watched so many movies, I just pick up on little nuances and performances, and it's Anthony Perkins' stutter and eating the candy and just watching performances, and you see why they transcend time. It's so cool.
And it's interesting because I think if I'd watched the movie when I was younger, and movies like it that I watched when I was younger, I looked at them and thought, like, this looks old. Mm-hmm. It's shot in a way that seems old. The sets and stuff like that are old. I watch it now and I think it's gorgeous. Like, the sets are gorgeous. The shots are gorgeous. The way they move the camera is gorgeous. And yes, it's all restrained by the technology they had at the time. Like, there's no Steadicam shots. But that's okay because the shots they use are really cool. It's weird that for some reason when you're young you look at that stuff and you just, like, because it's old, you just assume that it's bad.
I recently watched Dracula again, and there is a tracking shot from a crane. That's one of the first shots of the movie, it following a horse carriage down a road.
Yeah.
You're like, whoa, this is in a movie that's 90 years old?
Yeah.
And it blows your mind. You just have an appreciation for film when you get older, and you love movies like I do. So, yeah. I'm glad you saw that one, James.
It's really good. People should definitely, if you've never seen Gone with the Wind, do not be afraid. Run, don't walk. See that movie. So,
Brad, what'd you watch this week?
Not a lot. I watched the fourth and final season of Eastbound and Down.
Nice.
And that's really funny, except it's the same basic plot of Kenny Powers regresses into being a dick again and succumbing to money and then working his way out of it and becoming a good person again.
That show's ridiculous.
Wonderfully ridiculous.
I think everything Danny McBride does just has this just little bit of ridiculousness into it no matter what.
Yeah. And it actually has some heart to it. Like, I really enjoyed the ending, how they tie it together, how ridiculous the ending is. Like, because spoilers, he's writing this book about his life, autobiography, and then by the time the show ends, like, he starts. You think the show is going into the future, like way into the future, like 30 to 40 years. So he's like a gray-haired old man who's moved to Africa, and then, like, people are riding around on, like, hover bikes and stuff. And then it cuts back to, like, oh, it was just part of his book that he's writing, and then, like, ends in, like, normal time.
Nice.
That was funny. I was like, really? When the hover bikes were going around and people are, like, wearing, like, futuristic, like, laser costumes and stuff. It's like, okay, this show's taking a weird turn.
Don't you wish a show would just go for it, though? That, like, would be the ending?
Yeah.
You know?
I probably wouldn't mind it either. It's just like, wow, so weird. And the other thing I watched was Adventures in Babysitting.
Oh, nice. Thor's in that.
Yeah. Really? He's a big part of it, too. That movie's really dirty for a
I haven't seen
family
it in
movie.
years.
Like, there's a whole scene where the daughter and the older boy that's being babysat, like, he calls Thor a homo.
Nice.
And they just go back and forth, like, calling Thor a homo. And then Elizabeth Shue, like, the whole premise is they're being chased because they ripped off a Playboy from these gangsters. So, and then, like, Elizabeth Shue, like, the centerfold for that Playboy, like, looks like her, and it actually is her, but in the story, it's just a lookalike. And so they go to these weird places along the way, like, the station wagon breaks down, and then the tow guy picks him up, but then he gets a call that his wife's cheating on him, so he, like, diverts the truck and, like, goes to the house to kick the guy's ass, and then they run away to a car that's being carjacked, and that carjack car goes to an auto shop where they find the gangsters, and then they manage to go to the run around town and end up at the party that their parents are at, and the little girl's, like, dangling from the side of the skyscraper, which is, like, just so ridiculous and stuff. And
I haven't seen that movie in years,
Yeah,
but it's definitely 80s ridiculous for sure.
yeah, and there's, like, just tons of dirty jokes in between. And yeah, Vincent D'Onofrio is Thor.
That's right.
Yeah,
Jeez.
and he comes out like a dickhead, and then, like, the little girl just, like, gives him his helmet, and he, like, totally changes his attitude. It's like, go ahead, take your car for free. I don't care. Yeah, it's bizarre. Like, the motivations for some of the characters sometimes are. Oh, and then Bradley Whitford is Elizabeth Shue's boyfriend, who's
Is he really?
supposedly.
Is he a skis ball in it?
Yeah, he's a skis ball.
Of course.
Yeah. So, and they confront him. Like, of course, they run into him later on the other date. Yeah. So, I've been like it's usually like $5 at Best Buy. I was like, that's a fun '80s movie. It's got a Drew Struzan cover to it. I should add that to my collection. And then I watch it. I'm like, oh, that's probably why I don't have it. It's not that great, but yeah, it's got some fun '80s nostalgia to it. But yeah, that's before Elizabeth Shue was Jennifer in Back to the Future.
Pretty cute. She's in Cocktail, too. Naked.
That's it for me.
Her and Tom Cruise are fucking underneath a waterfall. You don't remember that part while Kokomo's playing? Come on, James.
I've never seen Cocktail. Should I
You
add that
haven't?
to my list of shame?
No.
I hoarded over a copy of House on Sand and Fog for that scene.
Yeah?
I'm just kidding.
Usually I start the show with fan mail, and we actually got fan mail, so I forgot to do that part. I always forget. Some people like us, sometimes. So here's fan mail.
Fan mail!
This is from our good friend Randy. He was on the show a few weeks ago. Hey, real nerds, Ryan's the grace of all... That's not really what it says. Hey, real nerds, been busy lately with Free Comic Book Day and prepping for Denver Comic-Con. But I had to send you an email. First, I must, again, thank everyone at the Real Nerds team for letting me on your letting me on your great, as always, podcast. Oh, thanks. I had a great time all the way around. The movie was good. Hanging with Ryan, Brad, and Zach. James, you weren't here. Fuck you. Was so fun. I can't believe he wrote that in this email. Seeing the Real Nerds layer was great. It sounds cheesy, but I've had everyone I know listen to the podcast I was a part of because it is something I'm truly proud of.
That's not cheesy. That's your obligation as an American.
Yeah, that's really nice. Thanks, Randy.
Yeah, thank you.
I finally had a chance to catch up on the last few podcasts. And I wanted to say I'm surprised Brad didn't mention the crazy song they sang so much in Only the Strong. I don't remember at all.
I don't remember that song. I can see the scenes playing out, but I can't remember the actual tune and the lyrics to what they're singing. So, but it was a big part of the movie, that's for sure.
I saw that movie right around its original release. Yep, I'm that old, and I hear that song in my head every time it's brought to my attention. So a few 3 questions. Who do you each wish to see most at Denver Comic-Con? Who?
Bruce Campbell.
Yeah, Bruce Campbell for me, obviously. Yep. Probably J. Scott Campbell as well. I'm gonna have him draw me a Gwen Stacy.
Why?
I'm gonna gift it and give it to James.
I just hope her thong is hanging out.
Yep.
It wouldn't be his if it wasn't womanizing.
Do you already have a lineup of who you'll interview while at the con?
No.
Here's the funny thing with that is we have found through our years of doing cons that when they send you emails like, "Hey guys, do you want to interview Fiona Staples?" We're like, "Yeah, we want to interview her," and then they never get back to us. Then we're like this, "Fuck it," and we walk up, "Hey, Fiona Staples, you do an interview with us?" "Yeah, sure." That's how we do interviews. Is we just walk up to them and ask them.
Yeah,
Because
so we're trying to get better about organizing them, but yeah, for the most part, we just go up and
like Ben Templesmith last year.
Yeah.
And he talks about burning babies.
yeah, that was weird.
Yep. That's
Really
a great
good-
one.
Really cool picture we have with him though.
Yeah. It's funny because he had this really weird sense of humor on the interview we were doing with him, and he never broke character. And I said, "Hey, because when you interview somebody, and I mean, his work, I always do softball questions. What's your inspiration? How do you draw?" And he's like, "Seriously, dude, ask me something fucking new. I hate this stuff." And then
Yeah.
at the end, he was such a sweetheart. He's like, "Was that okay? Was that funny?" Like he wanted to make sure that he wasn't too much.
He gave
of a
us a
jerk.
really hard time in the interview. Like it was
Yeah.
one of the toughest interviews I think we've ever done. And then when it was over, he was like really sweet about it. Yeah, he's
and
cool. He's really cool.
he'll be there this year too, I believe.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, he's
and
there.
if you do commission work from him, he does a really cool job on
Oh
it.
man.
He just uses.
You should have, at the very least, you should have a friend get commission work for him, and then just watch him do it.
Yeah, it's pretty
because
amazing.
he makes commission art like into a show.
I should make him do a Green Goblin. I bet he'd make a sweet Green
Oh,
Goblin.
dude, yeah, he'd like because he does stuff where like he'll like throw ink at the page and stuff like that. Like it's a performance to watch him actually
And
make art.
that was one of my favorite things. I asked him. We said, "Do you enjoy doing commission?" He says, "Yeah, I love it. And the reason I make it different than my art is because people are paying me to make something special. So he wants to make it special.
Yeah.
And he's a really cool guy.
Yeah.
So yeah, I enjoy it. So yeah, that's how we do interviews there because not that the people at DCC do a bad job. It's just they're super busy, and it's hard for them to line up interviews with people.
Yeah.
I just bought and watched the first season of Vikings and really enjoyed it. Does anyone in the
Hell
group
yeah.
like these sword and sorcery type shows?
Yes.
Yeah.
I love the first season of Vikings. I missed the second season. I got to go get that one. But the first season of that show's really, really strong. Has Donal Logue in it, and I love anything with Donal Logue in it. So
Yeah, I love. I already said Spartacus and things like that. It's
Yeah.
like, I guess that's not sorcery, but
No.
sandals and
there's
blood
not
and
really
guts.
there's not really sorcery in Vikings either. So
I guess it mean a fantasy. I guess kind of.
yeah.
Thing. Last but not least, I saw the trailer for Constantine and liked it very much. What do you guys think about it and these other potential comic book TV shows that may be coming up, like Preacher, Gotham, Flash, Pax Romania, Letter 44, Clone, and Ronin? As always, thanks for the great podcast. Looking forward to catching up with you guys at DCC. Thanks, Randy. I think the Gotham trailer looks really cool.
Yeah.
The Flash one was interesting. I'm not a big fan of the CW, but I think the trailer was kind of interesting.
Yeah, it looks like a mid-'90s Marvel movie.
It's-
Like those ones where, Captain America has a plastic shield?
Mid-90s for sure.
Yeah.
But it's interesting because, CW has such a hit with Arrow
Yeah.
that now, after 10 years of doing Smallville without having Clark Kent be Superman, they said, oh, Arrow's really popular, and we have all these crazy DC characters in costume.
Yeah.
So that's what it kind of looked like to me. The Constantine one looks interesting.
I haven't seen the Constantine one. I am very interested in that show and would like for them to do a good job of it, but because I don't think that movies are the right place for Constantine. Like that, it lends itself towards a X-Files sort of monster of the week.
Yeah, it needs
kind of show.
more episodic. Like,
Yeah.
a condensed story might not work as well.
Yeah, but the idea is really cool. Preacher, I will believe when I see it. Until I actually see like production stills that they are filming that thing, I'm not going to believe it ever gets made because
Be like your Lock and Key.
yeah, because Lock and Key they could totally make, and it would be great. Preacher, I'm not entirely sure they can make that, and B, I'm not entirely sure that they can make it good. Does that make sense? Like, it's really difficult to pull that off, and then it's really difficult to pull that off and make a TV show version of it that's decent. And I don't mean like production value wise. I mean like that thing is really fucking crazy, and to make it flow as a cohesive story and a show would be really hard. But I want to see someone try. Like, if only so that then I can like show it to other people and be like, look how fucking weird this is. Like, isn't this weird? And other people can know what I know. Because Preacher's really good, but it's fucking weird. So, yeah, I don't know. I want to see more comic book shows, and I want to see more of them be at least decent.
Less CSI.
Less CSI, yeah.
More something. Yeah.
Just,
I don't know.
yeah, I don't know. I don't know that anybody's done it completely right yet. Like, I've enjoyed Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but only in the last, 8 episodes did I think it was really a good show.
Yeah, I saw one episode, and I keep telling myself that I just saw the wrong episode.
Probably.
Deal,
If you saw any of the first,
strangely just too TV cheese and corn to
it's
be.
very cheese and corn.
Yeah.
But once they got close to the release of Winter Soldier, because what I now look at that whole season long, and that whole season is built around Winter Soldier. So because of the things that happened in Winter Soldier, a season 2 of that show is probably what they really wanted the show to be. But they have to trudge through all of this stuff to get to build a completely new universe, because there's this huge transition between where we were in the Marvel universe before that show existed and where we are now. And unfortunately, where we are now is a world without S.H.I.E.L.D. So they made a show called Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and then they made a movie that takes place that happens halfway through the season that ends S.H.I.E.L.D. And when you think about it that way, it's a fucking insane thing to do. So a second season of that show will probably be cool. But has there ever been a really, really good comic book show? Really good. One where you're really oh man, did you see
Live action?
Walking Dead?
Yeah.
I think Walking Dead's the
I
closest.
I give it to Walking Dead. I guess.
Brad says Batman 1966, but
The Walking Dead's good.
yeah. Anyway,
Cool.
Thanks,
hey,
Randy.
here's a comic book you should be reading. Guess what, guys? I got another Spider-Man for you.
fucking
Spider-Man actually had an original graphic novel come out called Family Business. Fuck you, Brad.
he's literally leaving.
Brad's literally leaving. And it's written by Mark Waid and James
cool.
Robinson. Mark Waid is known for Daredevil. Mark Robinson's known for Superman. And it's fully painted by Gabriel Del Otto, who did Secret Wars.
That's cool.
It's beautiful. The book is gorgeous. I was a little apprehensive about getting it. I got it because it's an original Spider-Man graphic novel, but it deals with Peter Parker's parents, which in the comic books I always have an issue with because, for those who don't know, Peter Parker's parents were spies for the CIA, and they were killed by the Red Skull because they were sleeper agents. It's a kind of a goofy story, and it doesn't really fit into Spider-Man very well. But for some reason, this book is really good because it deals with Spider-Man kind of being James Bond, where it's Peter Parker and his quote-unquote sister from his parents allegedly had a daughter, and she was taken away because they died on this mission. And she finds Peter Parker and doesn't know he's Spider-Man. And they go, and the Kingpin sets up this thing because he's looking for Nazi gold. And so Pete and Teresa is her name, are going all over the world trying to find all these clues and find out what their parents knew about this Nazi gold. So it's a really cool, espionage thriller, and it's beautiful. And the Kingpin's the main villain in it. And also appearance by Cyclone, I don't know if you guys have ever heard of this F-list villain. It's just... The book is actually a lot better than I thought it was going to be. I flipped through it really fast. I think it's 112 pages, and I read it in 40 minutes. But it's beautiful.
Cool.
If you like Spider-Man lore, it's an interesting thing. I wonder if they're going to actually keep it in continuity, because it does leave on a cliffhanger. And I won't spoil if Teresa Parker is really Peter Parker's sister or not. But you should read. You should read it.
Last thing I read by Mark Waid was The Rocketeer Horror Over Hollywood, which then killed The Rocketeer. So
I will say
I'm still bitter about that
great
book.
full-page splash of Peter Parker holding up Teresa Parker after an explosion, and his clothes are all ripped, and the Spider-Man costume is revealed. And she's like, "You're Spider-Man?" He's like, "Yep." It's great. It's great.
Yep.
It's a wonderful. I would love a poster of that. It looks so cool. But yeah, you should pick it up. Colorado Coins, Cards, and Comics, you can get 20% off. So your $24 graphic novel goes down to $20, and it's hardcover, and it's bigger than a normal comic book, so it looks really cool.
I love those.
Yeah, so pick it up.
Cool.
What was the number one movie at the box office last week? I'll tell you.
Neighbors.
Not Spider-Man.
This is the box office stats.
Oh, you guys need to leave a break.
Oh my
for
God, it was
Greg.
I
Neighbors.
didn't. No,
It was Neighbors. Neighbors was it? I forget the total. 56 million.
49.
49.
Admittedly, I did kind of want to see that.
It's
I
good.
was kind of like,
It's good.
No, it's really funny.
Yeah?
It's funny.
I don't know if it's like watch it 7 times in a row funny, but it's funny at least once.
I don't know. It might be funny to watch again. You might miss some jokes.
Yeah, you might. Yeah.
Yeah. Rose Byrne's hot.
Yep.
how many airbags are there?
3.
4.
Okay,
4.
not enough.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. They shouldn't have shown any of the airbags in the trailer, but
I know there's one
that
guy in
would've
our
been-
screening who could not stop laughing
there's always one of those guys.
during the airbag moment.
Yeah.
Not the Seth Rogen part, but there's a couple other like surprise ones, and it was like belly laughs. he was really.
It was
really,
Brad. It was Brad.
It was.
It's always good when someone can.
What's
enjoy
coming out
themselves
this
that
week
thoroughly.
on Blu-ray, James?
DVD releases and Blu-rays.
The Monuments Men is the big one this week.
Cool.
Which was worth seeing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's worth checking out. I think we even said it was a rental, so
It is.
now is the time to rent it. 3 Days to Kill, which only came out like 3 weeks ago in theaters.
That's appropriate.
I want to see it
Yeah,
because it looks ridiculous.
it's got Haley Steinfeld in it.
And Kevin Costner.
No.
Pompeii
Just kidding. I haven't seen it, so I
comes
can't.
out
Do
this
you know
week.
Kiefer Sutherland's in Pompeii?
Is he really?
Yep.
Carrie Ann Moss is in it. Oh yeah, Kiefer Sutherland. Oh, and Jared Harris.
Wow.
Cool. So yeah, if you were really looking forward to that, there's some season of Vampire Academy or some shit about last night, which
The
was
Vampire Academy is a movie, sir.
whatever. I don't know.
It was a
It's
huge
all
flop.
Great. That's
Pay
great.
attention. You're on a movie podcast.
I don't know. I don't pay attention to those ones. But if we're talking about vampires, there's a Blu-ray release of Nosferatu this week.
And you should pick it up. It's a Scream Factory
Mhm.
edition.
It looks gorgeous. Yeah, for sure. There's a Blu-ray re-release of McClintock this week, as well as the Zombie Horror Picture Show from Rob Zombie comes out this week. So, I don't know. See that.
Sure.
Anyway, no sharks. No shark movie this week.
No, lame.
I know, right?
I was hoping for Shark Gator.
Oh, Shark Gator.
Super Shark Gator, maybe.
Oh, man.
But if you want to see a cool Gator movie, Lake Placid is also coming out from Scream Factory in July.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Was that the one with
Classic.
Betty White?
Yep.
Oh.
Yeah, Oliver Platt.
Oh, she is awesome.
Oliver Platt swims out to that helicopter so he can get eaten.
Yeah.
Yep.
That movie scared me when I was like 7.
Yeah.
It's got a badass trailer. Or
It-
poster, I mean.
It does. I don't remember it. I pre-ordered it because I like Scream Factory Blu-rays. But I remember it's, a goofy creature feature.
Yeah.
Whatever. I'm sure it's worth a watch. Hey, there's movie news.
It's real news.
There is.
Or Star Wars Episode 7 started filming, guys.
Yeah.
There's sand on the slate.
There's,
What does it mean?
Tatooine.
What does it mean?
I
Blowing
hate
giant
sand.
craters in the desert.
it gets everywhere. It's
coarse
coarse.
and rough.
Oh, that's cute. You guys had a moment there where you both said course.
Yeah. Yep.
Like the movie.
Gay.
So, a couple people died this week.
Of course.
Yay.
H.R. Geiger died at 74.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. Yeah, Giger. Sorry.
Giger.
Sorry, I'm English.
Sorry.
Or I'm American, so I pronounce things wrong. But yeah, that one was, he was awesome. Well, he was weird. Alien,
He's really weird.
Alien is awesome.
Did you
and
watch
he
the
was weird.
documentary about him on the Alien anthology?
Yeah.
It's fucking weird.
Yeah.
It was great.
Yeah.
No,
it's a
genius.
weird great. You know
yeah.
what I mean?
Oh, yeah. No, like
He's like,
one of
I,
those guys.
I like penises on the wall.
he's one of those guys that like you really like him when he's over there. Like, when he's in a different state, you're like, dude, that guy's awesome.
He's like the guy
If
if
you
you
were
go
in
to
the room,
Walt
you'd be
Disney
like, fuck.
and they have the animation studio and they're all behind glass and you just point at what he's drawing, but you don't actually interact with them.
Yeah,
It'd be
exactly. There was also I'm gonna completely butcher his name, but Malik Benjalol also died this week. He 34 years old, I believe. He was the director
right.
of Searching for Sugarman, which was a movie from, I believe, 2 years ago at Sundance that made a really big splash and everybody was really excited about. So that one's sort of sad.
I know, the guy who is the voice of Alfred.
Yeah.
I was about to say that, too, because it's not what James likes. We didn't mention. You didn't see the voice of Alfred died. He's also on the FBI and some other crime show in the 60s.
The original, the animated series?
Yes. Yeah, the
Say
Batman
his name
animated.
because I was off mic.
It's Efron something, isn't it?
Ephraim Zimbalist Jr.
Yeah.
That's sad.
I would have butchered
He's the
his
voice
name,
of
too.
Alfred. If I read like comics,
Yeah.
I hear his voice, just like I hear
Totally.
Mark Hamill's Joker.
Right.
Yeah.
Kevin
It's-
Conroy is Batman.
It's so cool that the Alamo is showing Mask of the Phantasm.
Oh, I'm gonna
man.
June 7th. I'll be there.
Yeah, right?
Really?
Yeah. Isn't that cool?
35 millimeter
Pretty
print.
sure I'm there.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. Wow. Speaking of Batman, we got to look at Batman this week.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that's a big story.
I guess I should hand the mic back to Brad again because you're just going to talk about it.
What's there to say? It's a picture of the Batmobile and Batman.
Oh, there's more to say than that.
I think Affleck looks like he's Batman. Like he has a nice chin. He has a nice chin for the cowl.
I want to see more detail in the suit because
It's kind of a dark picture, and it's kind of hard to.
yeah, I forgot to like save it and then like
It's-
brightness and contrast.
seen how many
I'm
people
going to say something
photoshopped-
real funny though.
People.
Yeah, James is
totally.
like reaching for the mic, and he's like, "Here, Brad, you talk about it." And James is like, "No."
Well, because I thought you were
It is the Dark Knight Returns suit, absolutely,
yes,
and it's.
great.
I'm so happy with it. I'm super happy.
But he needs armor though. Like he's a
No.
human being.
There's armor
No.
in the suit.
He's gonna be in a movie where there's gods fighting.
Yeah, but it's Zack Snyder's movie, so like, who? There's no.
You know, it'd be sweet if it
Like-
was like, Rambo, where they get about to get in a fight, and then he sticks his hands like in like broken up kryptonite, and he's going to fight him. And
Yeah, they're still gonna have like two suits. He'll have that one, and then he'll have his crazy mech thing that he takes out Superman with.
Yeah, because that's the thing. Like, Zack Snyder talked years ago about how he really wanted to make Dark Knight Returns, and he's clearly like, it's not going to be Dark Knight Returns, but he's doing everything he can to put as much Dark Knight Returns in this movie as possible. So I'm hoping that like Superman gets struck by lightning and also dies, because that would be cool. Like he doesn't die in the book, but
They're not gonna kill
it'd be
Superman.
cool if he did, because fuck that character. And then like if he had a tank and he fought mutants and shit, like that would be cool.
Yeah,
I'm excited.
I was
I
never-
think Fat Superman, the like logo for Fat Superman, I think it's cool looking. So
I think Frank Miller's a horrible artist.
yeah, I agree.
Well, yeah, but I mean,
No, it's Frank Miller.
No, the second one's somebody else.
I was never upset about Ben Affleck being cast. I feel like I was like the only person in the world. Everyone's like, "Oh my god, it's so awful." I'm like,
No.
and Christian Bale and everybody else was like so perfect. I don't know. I guess I
Yeah.
mean,
Here's
not
the
that I
thing
have
is-
like huge beef
Yeah,
with any
but
one of
Affleck
them,
gets
but like,
tons of like shit. But
I
he's a
don't-
pretty good
well,
actor.
I was like
He's
coming
really
straight
good.
out of Argo and stuff, and
Yeah,
everyone's like,
come
"Oh, he's gonna be so bad. He's so bad." Hasn't everyone seen like all these bad movies that he did 20 years ago? And I was
Yeah.
like, "But lately, I'm loving
Yeah.
him."
But
And,
anytime they say, "Oh, he was in G," I'm like, "Yeah, he's also in Chasing Amy, and he's brilliant in that movie."
Yeah.
yeah,
So fuck
And
you.
and everything that's going to be wrong with Superman is going to have nothing to
And
do with Ben Affleck.
it's gonna be right. I mean, it's all gonna be on Snyder.
Yeah.
And whatever he does with them, and I'm just looking at his jawline at that
Yeah,
point. And I'm
yeah,
like,
exactly.
He looks
Looks like
fine.
Batman.
And if the suit looks anything like that, with the
with the
with the cape
short ears
coming at the neck and the short ears and no
Yeah.
Kevlar armor,
He's driving a real Batmobile,
Got my
not
money.
the Tumbler. Not that I don't like the Tumbler. I'm just saying, like, we're
nobody
getting
really
back to a
cares
traditional.
about poor Superman. It's his sequel, and nobody gives a shit.
No.
No, it'd be better if
Nobody
he weren't
cares.
in it. Yeah.
Nobody cares.
Because Batman's a cooler character. I think Man
Yeah.
of Steel's a good movie, but
Yeah.
Batman's a cooler character.
Yeah.
We're going to see Batman kick the hell out of Superman, not really the
Do
other
they
way around
dare
so
bring
much.
back
so
the Joker in this one? They don't.
Be a
I'm
little-
Just kidding.
maybe too soon.
Yeah, no.
Maybe unnecessary. You're already shoving Wonder
he's
Woman
been dead
in there.
for like 7 years. I think you're all right.
It's like, yeah, wow. That
It ought to
is-
just be like
makes
it ought to
me
be
feel-
it ought to be a
Yeah, right.
Batman
Old.
movie where they then cut back and forth. Like there's also a romance between Superman and Wonder Woman, but they just like go have coffee for a couple scenes. But then the rest of the movie is just Batman, right? So like it's Batman
Right.
and Superman, but it's like Superman is just hanging out with Wonder Woman, and then Batman's like off kicking ass, I would like that. That's a movie I want. Yeah.
At this rate, you put Wonder Woman in there. Why don't you just put the Flash in? Why don't you just call it Justice League?
He might.
Like,
They
it's
might.
just-
They probably. Yeah. He'll show up. He'll have like actually, they're just gonna go get that kid who's playing Quicksilver and
They're
X-Men.
trying.
And he'll show up
Just,
with
like,
fucking
have
goggles
him
and all.
play like 6 different characters.
Yeah, and like
across
that
3
temp
different
silver
universes.
paint in his hair.
You know what's funny is I've been reading reviews for X-Men, and they say Quicksilver's the coolest character in it.
Oh
So I
God,
keep
he looks
hearing-
horrible.
And,
His
I'll believe it
breakout of
when I see it.
Magneto is pretty amazing.
Believe it when I see it. He's a really fast guy. I have a hard
Yeah.
time investing.
Well, hey,
in
Yeah,
I
but
think-
how
fast
cool is
people.
that opening scene with
Nightcrawler's
with
lame,
Nightcrawler?
but they made it pretty.
Yeah, but he's
cool.
like teleporting,
yeah,
not just like.
but it's almost the same
I mean,
thing.
Yeah,
Like Bryan
it all
Singer's going to
down
shoot it
to-
exactly the same way, where like the camera's just going to keep moving, but that kid's
Do you
gonna
think
be
Bryan
running
Singer's
fast.
going to be chasing him, and he's like, "You can't catch me"? Get it? Because he's trying
That's
to fuck
good.
boys.
God damn it!
that's good.
We have no proof yet.
Just kidding.
We deliberately never talked about that story, and now, anyway,
I know. I made a joke about it.
yeah. Now we're making light of.
Yeah. That he didn't do anything.
Anyway, what was else in news? Roberto Ursi's going to direct Star Wars 3, which I'm
Star Trek.
Star Trek 3. Sorry, whatever. It's getting late, clearly. And then the very last thing, there's a movie theater in Canada that's going to try to start charging more for the middle 2 rows in the theater, the rows that everybody wants.
Good luck.
So, like, if you wanted to sit, it's almost like at the Greenwood Village, right, where if you want to sit in like those big cushy chairs and have a waiter come wait on you, like you have to pay more. Only there won't be big cushy chairs or a waiter; it'll just be the chairs. I don't give a shit. Like, I would deliberately go to a different theater.
Yeah,
because they're not offering me anything for the money. Just like, oh well, because if I get there early, my time is what I'm investing.
Right.
In getting those seats, right? It's sort of
stupid.
moot, yeah. And it's kind of moot because I don't know why you don't just like charge an extra 50 cents for every seat and then have reserved seats.
Yep.
You know?
That's why I go to the Alamo,
Yeah. I mean, the Alamo doesn't charge extra, but
They don't.
You also get food, so
and you get to see like cool things at the beginning of movies.
yeah.
That's how I found out about Hawk Jones. Is at the Alamo they used to put little clips of it before everything, and
Yeah.
yep,
Seems dumb. Stupid Canada.
yeah,
That's news.
I hope it fails miserably.
Yeah.
totally, because
Right.
it's stupid.
It's
I mean,
Canada. It will.
Yeah. Maybe we shouldn't charge extra for this row, eh? They'll apologize for it. Sorry about that.
I mean, like if all the movies are 3D in that theater, like maybe because like 3D seats are kind of
yeah.
the one time where I start getting really picky about where I'm at.
Here's the
But
thing,
that's-
though. When I went
Yeah,
and saw
but even then, like
when I saw Spidey, I didn't sit in the middle rows. I went to like the second row on the second half of the IMAX because then the screen goes around.
yeah,
me.
it's fully right.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So I think that works better.
What's this on the screen here?
It's Godzilla.
What's that all about?
So I don't know if you guys have listened. Before we review Godzilla, we say if you should go see it or not, and then we'll play the trailer, and then after the trailer, we'll spoil the fuck out of the movie. So, Alex, should people go see Godzilla?
I think so. Yeah, I think it was pretty cool.
Nice.
I saw it Thursday early, and then went and saw it again, like 12 hours later. And I mean, I didn't regret it. I was happy to go see it again the second time. At the same time, like it being that fresh and all was kind of, I guess it was. I saw it in 3D the first time, and not in 3D the second time. And I guess on one hand, it's hard to say whether or not it's actually that much better in 3D. But it being that fresh, and having remembered like every single shot as it was happening, was like, well, I think I strongly preferred the 3D thing.
Really cool.
Yeah, I mean,
Cool.
it was worth it. Good sound, like Dolby Atmos deal. 3D, it's totally epic. Giant monster movie, roaring and lots of buildings going down and stuff. Like I don't need anything more than that.
You have to pass the mic. Sorry.
Sorry.
It's directional, so
Yeah.
I was trying to make that smooth. It wasn't at all.
My bad. Yeah, absolutely see it. Again, Dolby Atmos if you can, for sure. Because sound design in general in that movie's pretty great. I'd be surprised if it wasn't nominated I'd imagine the Academy takes note of that. But yeah,
They don't notice much.
yeah, that's good. Yeah, never mind. Yeah, whatever comes out in December. Yeah, definitely, absolutely. Alex sort of took all my points, but for sure, it's a clever little movie for how big it is. Yeah.
Yes, I love Godzilla movies. I think this was a Godzilla movie. And I mean that in the best possible way. For me, it was a relief because I was really worried that it would suck, and it definitely does not. And it also took away that bitter taste that I've been holding in my mouth since that Matthew Broderick Godzilla movie came out.
Too much to James' chagrin.
Yeah. So yes, I would definitely.
He's
recommend
asexual,
you see
see,
it.
so he's planting eggs, and then they hatch, and then there's velociraptors. I like the part with the
Exactly.
velociraptors. It's like Jurassic Park.
James,
Oh,
you have
Brad,
the mic.
here.
Isn't this movie the same plot? Almost. They're trying to make little baby Godzillas, and well, except they're not Godzillas, but they're little babies of the monster.
Spoilers, fuck.
Yeah, I don't care. Yeah, this movie is awesome, except when I go see a Godzilla movie, I want to see Godzilla. Not an hour into the movie, or hour and a half.
Yeah, I mean, this movie could have used more Jean Reno playing Elvis, but I think it's great. It's definitely worth seeing. I think this movie would have been better if they'd just taken the first act and the third act and smashed them together and made them longer. So I will probably be a little bit harsh on this in our review, but I really love it and think it's awesome and was so jazzed coming out, so everybody should see it. Yeah.
The movie's pretty badass. I think it's a cool movie. I think you should see it. I do have some problems with it, but I still think it's one of the best trailers of the year. And here's here's the trailer where you don't know what's going on. It's pretty awesome.
I want to talk to somebody in charge. You are not fooling anybody when you say that what happened was a natural disaster. You're lying. It was not an earthquake. It wasn't a typhoon. Because what's really happening is that you're hiding something out there. And it is going to send us back to the Stone Age. God help us all.
In 1954, we awakened something.
Well, there's nuclear tests in the Pacific. Not tests.
They were trying to kill it.
You have no idea what's coming.
Can you kill it? The arrogance of man is thinking nature is in our control. And not the other way around.
Who the fuck is my wife talking to?
The cats. Who else should she talk to?
She's beautiful. Godzilla, the movie. The thing I do really like about this movie is they treat it really serious. There's some goofy, funny parts in it, but it's not that. Hank Azaria is going to be smashed by Godzilla, and he doesn't get smashed by him.
Animal's a funny character.
But the movie's really cool. I love the credits in it. Because they do this
those are the
old
credits?
archival footage,
Hell
and then
yeah.
you see Godzilla kind of in the background, and
Exactly like in the in the other one.
and
It's the same movie.
but they build up the presence of Godzilla, and they do throw a curveball that it's something else is the monsters that start off, and you're expecting it to be Godzilla.
Right. Which is really cool because it allows them to make Godzilla a hero in a Godzilla movie, which is, very traditional, but is not what I think most Americans would have expected, right? Like we're used to your Cloverfields and Pacific Rims where the giant monsters are the bad guys. So it was really cool that they were able to pull that off. Makes a sequel really easy.
It does, and I will say the movie's beautiful. I mean, not just the special effects, but I think it's shot really well.
Yeah.
If I had, I have a couple complaints. My biggest complaint is I think some of the dramas are a little hokey in it.
Yeah.
I don't like the ending where the family gets reunited. And just the music really bothered me at that point because they're just really trying to make it emotional, but it just comes across really hokey to me.
It was very cheesy at the end. I was so hoping that they would let him go off on the boat
and blow up
and die. That I would have respected.
But I
really would have.
I'm going to go a step further and say I think this script is stupid. And I will own this movie. I think it's awesome. But the script is real dumb. Like the whole middle act of this movie is meandering and the trick of you come into this movie and you want to see Godzilla fight monsters, right? So you can do the trick where Godzilla runs towards the other monster and they're going to fight and then you cut away. You can do that once or twice to build suspension and anticipation, but they do it so many times through that middle act that I started getting frustrated with it. And I don't know what some of those action scenes are for, like the one on the train tracks and stuff like that. They're just there because they were bored. They were doing the action scene every 10 pages thing, and it's not very interesting. But the reason the script is dumb is that the most interesting character and the most interesting relationship dies 20 minutes into the movie. This movie was supposed to be about him and his father and his dad, reconciling with not being able to save his sons or his wife, and the two of them getting back to their family and reuniting that family. It has nothing to do with getting back with Elizabeth Olsen. It has everything to do with those two getting back together. And once he's dead, I don't know why I care about Ford. And I don't. All I care about at that point is seeing Godzilla fight monsters. And it takes till the third act for that to happen.
Yeah, because you could sort of see it, because that's when the Japanese kid comes in.
Right.
Where they're trying to...
Yeah, where they're like, well, we need something.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's just too bad.
I will say this, though. People will complain about the Godzilla thing, but I actually think it worked really well for the movie, in so much that the build-up for him coming to Hawaii is amazing.
Oh, totally.
How they played on the tsunami thing where the water's being sucked back because this force is coming. And, he shows up at the airport and it has that awesome hero shot of Godzilla.
Yeah.
And I will say, I think Godzilla's character design in this is brilliant.
Yeah.
And it looks so cool. And I remember reading things that the Japanese were complaining that he looked fat. No, he looks like he's just built like a fucking monster, literally. And I think it took a kind of a Spielberg approach to it, where it's going to give you little bites, just like the shark and Jaws, for different reasons.
Right.
The shark and Jaws is because the shark didn't work, but it's like,
but it builds suspense.
Oh yeah, oh it's come no, here it's come no, and then when they finally fight, it's kind of cool. I think it looked really. I thought it worked really well. I think that's actually the movie's strongest point, because I do have problems with the clunky dialogue, the forced drama, but the parts where you're building up the suspense for Godzilla, I think worked really well.
I would agree if the stuff. So this is a movie where it follows a story that's taking place while somebody else is making a Godzilla movie, right? So there's a big actiony Godzilla movie being made somewhere, and this is a little story about some people trying to avoid the Godzilla movie, right? It's like War of the Worlds, but with Godzilla, and that's awesome. I love the movie again, but the story that's going on with Ford just isn't as interesting as it could be. Where if those encounters he were having and the stuff he was getting stuck in were more interesting and there was real character depth to it, I would totally agree with you. But that's why I'm saying, like, that middle act where they're avoiding showing you Godzilla fighting monsters and they're not very good at making me care about Ford's story, that middle act just sort of meanders for me.
He was kind of like just the accidental tourist going through all
totally.
that. Things were happening to him.
Yeah.
Kept being sucked back in.
Yeah, and that was, I bring up that point too. It seems like he was always just the lucky guy to not get hurt.
Yeah.
And that as a little those parts of the script really bothered me. But I mean the monsters looked amazing.
Yeah.
It's a pretty impressive looking movie. It really is, and the sound is unreal. I love movies. The part it's in the trailer, but it's a little more in depth where the jets are falling out of the sky. In our theater, I could hear them like coming from behind me and dropping, and that's just a really clever use of sound.
Man, when his tail starts to light up blue,
it's
just it's exciting. Like, that's the thing. The whole third act is fucking badass from beginning to end. It's just super cool. They got to sneak into the nest and kill all the babies, just like in the last Godzilla movie.
Except it's not Godzilla's babies.
Whatever, it doesn't matter. They're still monster babies. Like, they don't hatch and they don't slide around on gumballs. Like, I understand. There's a difference. There's a difference between them.
They didn't use the off-the-shelf pregnancy test either. I was waiting for that.
That's true. Oh, I forgot about that. Yes. All you got to do is get Godzilla to pee on a stick, and you can find out whether or not he's pregnant. Oh man, you're right. That was bad.
But too, the first part he shoots fire is pretty badass. But
I was waiting for that. I was hoping for that. When it finally happened, I was so relieved. And there was, I think, everybody in the audience who appreciates Godzilla was waiting for that moment too. When it finally happened, there were fists in the air.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, and then when he killed the second monster, there was cheers in our audience.
Oh yeah,
because he shot fire down his gullet until its head decapitated.
Yeah, first he starts to like King Kong its jaws open, and you think like, oh, he's gonna rip it in half, and then just like burns its whole body out from the inside. I didn't even think they were gonna do it, right? Like, I didn't think they would pull off fiery, lightning-breathing Godzilla in an American-made movie, but it's cool, and I think they earn it, right? Like they build the idea of giant, crazy monster things well enough that at that point you're like, oh yeah, sure, whatever, they can fucking breathe whatever they want.
They eat,
they eat radiation.
Radiation out of bombs like it's a soda can. So.
Exactly.
But there is like really cool set pieces. I mean, the Russian sub like stuck on an island and the monster like vampiring it out is pretty sweet. But.
Yeah, for sure. The whole thing at the Honolulu airport all looked really cool. And like that sequence where it tears through the train, like that was really cool. Just a neat set design.
I guess everything that had to do with Godzilla and the other monsters was done
really
extremely well.
Yeah. Exactly.
And
so,
Elizabeth Olsen didn't get naked in it. I expect
I know.
that.
Was she even in the movie? Like, yeah.
You get to a point where you just expect it from her.
Yeah. If Bryan Cranston had been through the whole movie, I think this would have been the most amazing movie.
Yeah, when he died, I thought,
I was actually
that's
shocked.
an interesting choice.
Yeah.
I was shocked because he's really, because that dialogue is not the strongest, but when you have someone like that at that caliber who just believes the dialogue, then you just get on board with it. I've said this before in Oblivion. Tom Cruise says a line where he says, "Who are you?" And I believe every word that he says in that. And when Bryan Cranston is in this, and he's crazy, he's supposed to be that eccentric, crazy guy, but you're just on board with him because he knows how to. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
They should have just killed Ford. Like, Ford should have died at the scene in the beginning, and then Bryan Cranston should have had to fight his way back to save, like, to keep Ford's family safe.
And to
like,
see
that
his grandkid that he's never seen. Oh, man.
Right. Yeah. Like, that's a fucking awesome story that then has Godzilla fighting monsters in it.
That's an actual arc.
Right.
Because what's Ford's arc?
My dad's crazy and dead.
Yeah. Yeah.
Also, there's this bridge here. I hope I don't fall off it. And there's this guy. I guess he's dead.
Yeah.
My my dad taught me to try to save my family, and I did a better job than he did.
And also
Yeah.
save any random Japanese kids that I come across.
Yeah.
Mission accomplished.
Yeah. Yeah. Because
like short round.
Yeah.
Yeah, he starts playing
Yeah.
cards with the little.
Because the Japanese
See,
kid.
You
looks
know why
like
I
it,
would
too,
never
yeah.
make it
With a
as
hat,
a
baseball
filmmaker
hat.
in Hollywood? Because I would always want to like shock the audience. So that part where that little Japanese kid like falls and he saves him, I would have him literally fall out and go into like to the monster's mouth. Just because people be like, "What the fuck did I just see?" Because everybody expects the kid to be
Yeah,
saved.
yeah.
Fuck the kid.
And that scene would have been so much more impactful if that had been Bryan Cranston instead of Ford.
And you know what? And that's why the death of Gwen Stacy works in Spider-Man.
Ah, fuck. Yeah. Oh.
With like, I agree that a lot of the writing and dialogue is sort of unforgivable, but then I think the director really kind of stood up, and because like the scene with the silhouette of the paratrooper guy and all that, I mean, anyone else is just going to show him ejecting and then it hitting the building, but that little
Oh yeah,
Oh, the
that
reversal?
was brilliant.
Yeah, it's
Of-
just
like
like
he's coming
it's
down and then boom. it's just-
insanely clever the
What's
whole
that-
way through to make up.
What's his
for
name?
that
Gareth
writing.
Evans? Garrett Davis?
Yeah, the guy that did
Yeah, he's only made one other movie.
Monsters.
Yeah.
And to give
all
him a
around,
movie,
I just
because-
think the overall. I mean, I agree with basically every negative thing
Yeah.
that's been said. I mean, I definitely seeing with Bryan Cranston in the opening credits is like, oh wait, like, oh, is he really? And same problem that I have if I had to pull in another movie for like 10 seconds. Avatar in general, like I can't get behind kind of a characterless military guy
Yeah.
that basically is just like, well,
No,
he
you're
does
right.
kind of react to things around him a little. He's
Yep.
just kind of like, Semper Fi, let's just fucking get it
Yeah.
done.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, I mean, at first I was like, Bryan Cranston being dead, little disappointed, like for half a second, but I'm thinking, okay, maybe that's okay. Maybe that's still gonna be all right. Maybe the movie can hold up from here on out. But then, yeah, I mean, I don't know what's going on. And I mean, I love the train sequence still with it. I love, I guess, the idea and some of the things that happen. Sort of the dramatic irony of like, okay, the train stopped, and now you see the monster start to move, and it's there, and they're moving the train again now, and you sort of there's still from a director's standpoint, like the less is more thing. Totally stand by it. The Spielbergian always, and the thing with the 3D, always seeing the action through something, through
It gives it
the
the
window
depth
of the
that you
train,
need.
and to like that made it work all the time. And it's you don't totally have the detached camera zooming in and around the
gimmicky.
monsters.
Yeah.
It's always
Yeah.
from a first person sort of perspective. And one thing that was blowing my mind, because I agree, on, like trailer wise, like you said, craziest that teaser, that first teaser with that haunting music and that. So there are like 2 or 3 shots in the trailer that when they actually showed up in the movie, I was like, holy shit, that is not the shot from the trailer. It is the same exact shot, but they pulled all the stuff out of it. Like that first teaser has that Halo jump sequence, first person, where the reveal is the lightning flashes and you just see Godzilla's back.
Yeah.
And then in the movie, suddenly you're like, oh, okay, here's that cool shot of Godzilla's back. But no, it's them like duking it out. And he falls like through them. So, like, I don't know how a director like him has so much, if at all, if this is how it has so much control over the marketing or however that is, where he's like, we're going to build this shot this way, and then over the next 6 months, we're going to undo all of that, and we're going to put something else in there for the sake of having the shot. Or like when they're closing the bay doors or whatever in the trailer, and it's just Godzilla roaring, but it actually is like 2 of them duking it, like just totally redoing shots for the sake of being able to show something and not giving anything away. Like that. And again, that's not really a critique on the movie itself. It's just the foresight of like, we're going to show very little, and what we do show is not what you're going to see in the end anyway.
Yeah.
No, I
and
agree.
so like, beyond that, other little things, like I always kind of have a problem. I could easily bring this back to The Dark Knight Rises. No problem. Here we go. Because it's like, it's the same. It's so incredibly awesome to see Godzilla almost King Kong him, and I feel like everybody expected. It sort of looks like he's just going to rip him in half, like you said, and but the Catwoman coming up behind Bane just exploding, and there's Catwoman. Like that is never okay in any movie for me. Like the bad guy getting caught with his pants down, and Godzilla just coming up behind him, and like not cool. I'm not ever happy with the protagonist just popping up and having a 5-second little sequence of a tiff, and then it's over. It's the weirdest. I'm totally conflicted about it because I love how it looks and I love how it goes down, and I love watching. Like I want to watch that frame by frame, just its head come off and him roaring and dropping the head into the But conceptually, like why do we have to do that in every summer movie? Especially, it's always like you got this big awesome bad guy going around wrecking stuff, and then good guy comes up behind him, and that's it, and then it's over. Why can't they just duke it out forever, and then actually win like a fair fight? Why is it always that? I don't know.
I 100% agree with you because even though that scene is like we all thought they were going to go King Kong route, it's never going to be as cool as the scene in King Kong, even the 33 version, because we watched them wrestle for a while, and King Kong gets the upper hand, whereas that one was just gotcha, motherfucker, and then he kills him, and it's still super badass. Like that's the thing. Like we're being really harsh on a movie that was still fucking dope as shit, but I wanted to see more wrestling monsters. Which is probably a testament to how good the movie is, right? Like if they hadn't pulled off giant monsters fighting so well, you wouldn't want to see more of them. But yeah, I agree with you. It's one of those funny little, I don't know.
But just like Pacific Rim, it doesn't really matter. At the end of the day, it's two big things fighting, and it looks badass.
Yeah. Right. Well, but in this case, it does because I had that thought as I was leaving. Because I watched Pacific Rim today. The difference is that Pacific Rim, they're constantly having more and more fights between giant badass things, so the plot doesn't matter. Like the stupid scenes where they're fighting with sticks, that's just kind of dumb and the dialogue sucks. Like you don't care as much because they're going to go straight from that to like, oh my god, there's a giant knife head thing and it's going to fight this big robot, so you don't care. Whereas this one, they deliberately cut away from the fight sequences, so they have to rely on those on that stuff more. Which also means you can do that trick where you keep pulling away if you deliver in the end. And in order to do that in this case, you needed like 5 more minutes of just like wide shots of monsters fighting.
Because I think it's the whole Jaws thing. Because I don't have a problem with how little we see of Godzilla, but that middle stuff with all the dialogue has to be brought to the same level.
Exactly.
It has to be Jaws.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Like they have to, sing and talk about their scars in the bottom of a boat while you don't see a shark.
Yeah, I was expecting a lot more atomic debate.
Yeah,
like going back to the themes of the originals,
but they can't because they killed Bryan Cranston.
Exactly.
Fuck. Why did they do that?
Exactly.
Oh, it's a cool movie.
Yep,
it's a really cool.
I'll own
movie.
the Blu-ray.
Hell yeah, and I'll watch it a lot.
One thing I definitely appreciated was the fact that the monsters were forces of nature.
Yeah.
And there was nothing that the military could do to really influence really anything.
Yeah.
Or get in their way or...
No, I agree.
Yeah, or impede their progress in any way, shape, or form. And when they tried to... the one, to take the missile, the bomb, and take it out to the ocean. Well, okay, the monster just picked it up and, was going to eat it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everything they try to do is backfired. You're right. It's really cool that, it is. Nature has to take its course, and, that's why Godzilla is around.
I love that the human characters, the whole time, I was really, from day one, I'm concerned that it's going to end with that third act, all firepower, here's the military screaming a bunch of stuff, all firepower focused here. The monsters are all fighting, and we got the military somehow saving the day. You got 2 monsters, maybe one of them is Godzilla taking them out. The other one's the human characters, because we got to give them a reason to be here. so love that on one hand, like, you are kind of repeating the baby thing from the other one, but it's only like the human characters are only there to fix their own stupid problems that they caused themselves. Like, they literally don't have any influence over, and that's another decision that I can't complain about at all. Like, they really, it is inherently kind of a stupid script, but they, at least somebody back there, whether it was the director or somebody, was like, we can't give give them a plot based on them making stupid decisions and just having to go in there and fix it, and let the monsters have their moment. Like, so that's another thing I'm super happy about. I did not want to see them all cheering because they helped save the day. They just helped not fuck it all up. Which is awesome.
Yeah, but there's something to be said for the fact that, like, the only thing that redeems this movie is a 600-foot tall fire-breathing dragon monster. That, like the actual plot of the movie is, and the script is so bad that the only way you can make it awesome for people is to put giant fucking monsters that destroy a city in it, and then suddenly it's like, oh, okay, cool. That's the But
well, because like on a script level, when they're going in looking for in Nevada, this nuclear stockpile and all that, and they're checking all the doors,
and they miss the fact that there's a half a mountain missing.
Yeah, and it's already on its way. But you're totally fine with it.
Yeah.
Well, it's the other side of the mountain, guys.
No, and it's the thing is it would be fine in the movie as part of, like, the humans just being dumb, but anyway, it's awesome, dude. People need to go see this movie.
We tried that. We tried that last time. Like, we dropped the bomb on him last time, but this one's bigger, so it'll totally work this time.
Yeah.
It's like, no, I don't think. No. Yeah,
I
don't think there's ever. Bryan Cranston is like the crazy character, but he ends up being the most the smartest guy in the whole damn movie.
Yeah. And he dies 20 minutes in.
Yeah.
Again, it's a stupid script.
But it's a movie about giant monsters.
And they look
at the end
really
of the day, they look great and awesome.
Could have used more Velociraptors, though.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
That's the whole thing about the second time through and not doing 3D. I mean, I was a little bummed out, but I was like, it was either 3D or Dolby Atmos, So it was like, it's got to be sound because, and a bigger screen, and that's great. But it, like, dawns on me, like, 20 minutes in, I was like, wow, wait. Like, having remembered the movie so well, having just seen it, it's like, man, he really is only in this movie for 15 minutes, and I kind of could take a giant nap and, like, not really be that bummed out. Like, I love that airport sequence, and the first time through, definitely having that epic. So there's, like, again, the Spielbergian sort of long shot of one airplane goes out, then another one, then another one, then another one, and then the foot comes in, and even just the second time through, I was just watching the people in the airport in the foreground, and they're all freaking out as the airplanes are exploding. But as soon as Godzilla's foot comes in, everyone just stops. Like, all the extras sort of like, wait, what? And then it sort of tracks up Godzilla, and I think that's the first time they really pull that, like, here it is, but no, not really. We're going to make it sort of a joke where you see it play out on TV. Yeah. And, like, I absolutely love that the first time around.
Yep. Oh, I loved it.
Second time around, seeing it 12 hours later, I'm just like, I just want to get to the fucking 15 minutes of this thing, of the wide shot and the fire breathing, like, and that's it. And the second time, like, I thought it went by too fast the first time because I'm so, like, it's just like this more, give me more. But then the second time, it was arguably faster for some reason. I was just like, I thought I would have more time to soak in each shot, but already kind of knowing that he's only in it for like 15 minutes made it just sort of suddenly there to the credits. And I'm like, I like, here's hoping that the sequel that is inevitably going to happen can, in the same way that an origin story needs to set up whatever forever. Like, at this point, you can just I'd
just
be
show
okay
Godzilla
with
fighting things.
If you don't have Bryan Cranston, all the characters are dead. Like, for the love of God, don't bring back Jarhead, dude. Like, like don't. If he didn't need to survive in the first place, I think you're totally right. Like, having him die on the boat would have been excellent. But just whether or not it's going to be like Mechagodzilla, like building us. We need to build a Godzilla for. That's like every other movie these days too. I feel like though, so it totally makes a lot of sense that would be the safe bet. Was just have part 2 be. Humans are scared. We need to have something to fight back, so we're going to build a robot. I mean, and for some reason, that seems in the same way that the fire-breathing thing is like, are they going to do it? Is that too much in a movie where already we're watching monsters fight? And,
yeah.
But for some reason, Mechagodzilla also feels kind of like
over the top.
Yeah, but how? But how is that? It doesn't make any sense.
It should come from space, though.
Whatever it is?
Yeah, next one, it should be like the Cloverfield monster, and then they just go kick the shit out of it.
Cool. As long as
there should be a bunch
as long
of
as I
them.
get more than 15 minutes, I'll like it more.
There should be like 6 of them, and they all like they get in a line, and he just like kills them 6 different ways, right? In the middle of fucking, I don't know, a big town.
Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
But that's I want to see him destroy Sheboygan.
Yeah.
1 foot. Bam.
But that's the thing that I have with not seeing him that much is like how much in the history of Godzilla when he's just alone like that, how much does he actually do? Like how many moves? He's got the tail move, the atomic breath.
I don't know. He was only in the movie for 15 minutes.
Like what are their options?
I mean, because back in the day, well, he can do that thing where he like stands up on his tail and flies horizontally, right?
That's true.
He could rip a spire off the top of a skyscraper and use it as a sword. I mean,
oh yeah,
true.
Yeah, I mean, like, yeah, like the Brad saying that when he tail whips the thing, like that was really inventive and cool for a movie where they basically are just boxing the whole time. So yeah, no, they can. I want them to take the time and the effort to figure out how to make something cool. You know,
right?
Yeah, and it sort of depends on what the villain is. Like if you create a cool monster for him to fight, then there might be interesting opportunities for him to.
Especially if they go the whole 2 versus 2 route, sort of thing, where he teams up with one.
Yeah, give him a friend, like a little version of him.
Yeah, but yeah.
The little Godzilla.
Yeah, the little. Yeah, exactly.
LIL apostrophe.
He runs
Godzilla.
around like maybe he has a diaper. You know, like a big diaper. That would be cool. You know.
And he says funny one-liners.
Yeah, and like he tries to breathe fire, but then like he hiccups and like smoke comes out of his nose.
Or Godzilla breathes fire. He's like, "Dad, that's horrible halitosis." I should write it. Call me Hollywood.
Yeah. No. He could just go. He could be like, they time travel right back in time, and then he fights dinosaurs.
I'd see that.
Yeah,
right.
It's a Jurassic Park prequel.
Yeah, or like we just time travel back into like the time when the Earth was very irredicated and there were lots of those monsters.
Yeah. Actually,
so it's like Back to the Future.
Times more radiation. Exactly.
Yeah, right. Like it's Back to the Future, but with Godzilla. So like he goes back and then he accidentally gets like he has sex with Godzilla's mom, and so Godzilla never gets born. And then I don't like this at all. Never mind. Yeah. Oh man.
I don't get that line. What the hell is she referring to? She's like back in a time when, and they're like showing. I'm pretty sure they're showing like pictures of dinosaurs from like.
They are, yeah. It's a drawing of dinosaurs, and then she's like, back before the dinosaurs, there was lots of radiation, and these large monsters wandered the earth and ate each other and ate radiation. I don't know how to eat radiation.
Yeah.
But
No, I was just,
they're
Aaron
top off a bomb.
Aaron and I were just talking about they went extinct by throwing nukes at each other, and that's actually like what like suddenly the whole.
Oh yeah. And then
I said it
Godzilla
was-
swam to the ocean, and he eats the radiation at the bottom of the ocean that causes volcanoes or something. I don't know. I don't think they know what radiation is. It doesn't matter. It's Godzilla.
No,
Seems
really.
legit.
Yeah, like I don't know. He sleeps at the bottom of the ocean and eats radiation.
She
matter.
was surprisingly spazzy. Everything she's trying really hard.
Do you mean that?
Like with
that,
with the lines she's given.
Yeah.
She's like, but for the Americans, just everything is like so like. Bryan Cranston's gone, so somebody's got to try it like, really hard.
Yeah, like the guy that was he was supposed to be freaked out and not know what's going on, and he was more calm than she was.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a weird character.
Because he's a dude.
Whoa.
Yeah, you're.
Oh
Right
man.
there.
All around bold. I'd be super interested to find out like why, how, and why, whether or not it was someone seeing monsters and they're like, we need to get this guy, or if he was just kicking down doors and sleeping in like couches in the lobby, like demanding to talk to somebody. We're like, I know how you can do this. I know I read something at some point where the director claimed like he was actually watching like this marathon of all the original Godzillas when they called him and asked him to do it. But I mean, this guy, Monsters was like a basement movie, right?
Yeah.
$5,000 or something.
That's something cheap like that. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, good to see Hollywood doing that, taking those risks, I guess.
Yeah. Well, and
on
especially
something that like Godzilla, which already has a pretty bad reputation based on just what happened a decade ago, and just could, no matter who does it, could just be a horrible movie.
Yeah.
No matter how cool the monster is, and I don't know.
It does make you wonder what that process was like.
Yeah.
How did he get this movie?
I mean, 'cause
did nobody else want to touch it?
Yeah, I mean, right? That's a good question, but he. All in all,
I think
it's
that when
Godzilla,
you're
and
the
I think
guy
it killed
who,
it.
yeah,
I have a lot of complaints, but like first time
he's the
through,
reason
I
it's
would
good.
say I was letting it all go. I was like,
Oh,
I
totally.
don't really care.
And you still
how
should.
bad this.
Like everything
Yeah.
that we've said about this movie, I will still go see this movie again and probably own it and like because it's
totally.
great. It's
Oh,
just
it
an
was
interesting conversation.
Beautiful.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah.
So, I think the story is that when you made a $5,000 movie about about big bugs and stuff, and they come to you and say like, "Hey, do you want to make a $200 million movie?" You say yes.
Yeah.
And so that's the story.
Go see it in
but how you
3D.
got it.
If you go again,
That's interesting.
If you go,
I'm kind of
it
curious.
totally. There wasn't. I mean, there weren't any parts that maybe I'm kind of sensitive to it, where you get that sort of ghosting effect or
Yeah.
whatever. Like, never really had that problem.
Cool.
So
Cool.
it was neat.
Cool, guys.
Ryan,
Tell
what
us one more time where we can find you and how we can donate to your project.
Indiegogo.com. Search for Mount Molehill. Facebook, AR Works, Epicene Entertainment, Urban Lights Entertainment. Yes, we'd really like just watch the trailer once or twice. If we don't get our goal, then we're going to have to feed the girl to the bear. So that's on your shoulders.
no.
So yeah, take with that what you will. Yeah.
So thanks, guys, for stopping by. We appreciate it. Next week, we'll be seeing X-Men Days of Future Past.
with that goggles kid in it.
Yes.
Goggles.
Cool.
Thanks for listening.
Yeah.
Thanks. Thanks.
It's great to be here.
Appreciate
Cheers.
it. Bye.
Bye.
Suck my balls. Visit our website, realnerdspodcast.com. You can tweet us at real_nerds. You can email us even, realnerds@gmail.com. Like us on Facebook. Hey, stream us on Stitcher. You want to call us? 720-6nerds5. And download us on iTunes. Just search Real Nerds. Thank you, Joe Kempter, for the wonderful voiceover. And also Spark Mandrill for the wonderful late-night jazz smooth sounds of movies. You can find him on SoundCloud. This has been a Nebulous Visions production.